Right, now we can see. Yeah, we're all in the shot.
Right, so welcome back to episode 2. If you watched the first one of the Every Tom, Dick and Harry's podcast,
We have now got Dick.
we've now got a Dick, and we've got Tom and Harry. So yeah, this is Peter, Thai guy on Instagram, loves his music.
Also, Thai guy on YouTube as well.
Yeah, big up his YouTube channel. Give him a follow. So yeah, a little bit about you.
What do you want to know?
What like the sort of work you do? What got you into it? What?
MC started now. Definitely not. Yeah, I'm a DJ, and then I'm like, I have my own like video editing kind of content creation business as well. Not all that kind of jazz really, and then yeah, just content creator at the moment. So how long have you been how long you been doing the DJ for? DJing 12, 13 years, something like that. Actual like professionally, and then yeah, what was I like? Producer as well, I guess. Producer, and then before that I was in little fucking emo bands. Let's cover how old Peter is. How old are you, Peter? I am 36. Man does not look 36.
Don't look a day over 23, man. I look older than you.
Fuck. Yeah. So yeah, he's been doing that, and then obviously with the content creation side of things, what kind of got you into that? Was it just something to do on the side, or was it something you enjoyed that you just wanted to do? What? Content creation, well, like the DJ and stuff, that was like, I was like, yeah, you just kind of need to be making more content these days for you. So I was like, I need to kickstart, get that going. I'm like a year and a bit deep now into doing that. So.
And what is it you've just hit on YouTube?
YouTube, we just hit 50k subs. That's crazy. And then yeah, TikTok 57k, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and Insta's just trailing behind.
Insta's hard to grow.
Insta's not like TikTok and YouTube. Like I think with DJing, like your friend, DJ Ignition.
Yeah.
He's grown rapid. Yeah, and I don't think your videos and his videos are that different. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's maybe just that one video that does really well, that pops, and then obviously it's like a snowball effect from there. Yeah. And it is just the case of having that one video that does really well, but that leads to opportunities. Yeah, exactly. That leads to opportunities down the line, whether that's invites to do DJ sets or whether that's artists reaching out, like they're starting to do where it's like, could you feature me on one of your mixes? Yeah. Things like that, and it's just. The hardest bit about what you do is you can't monetize what you do directly through YouTube or TikTok because of using other people's music. Yeah, exactly. But there's always going to be a way to develop that monetization through people noticing what you do and the amount of views that you get and the amount of traction that you get. Yeah, that will just grow and snowball over time.
Yeah, people want to be part of that, innit? So as soon as like you start, they see you doing well and getting big views, they'll be like reaching out and they'll be like, oh. Yeah. Bang me in one of your videos, or why do we work together and stuff? And it's just it's good networking that way as well. Especially with TikTok. TikTok's such a good networking tool that a lot of people don't realise. Like it used to just be fucking young kids dancing and that, innit? Like doing all that bad shit.
I do TikTok. What? I do TikTok. What, you doing silly dances and stuff?
Hey, can you imagine like 5 years ago telling someone you did TikToks? Like you made TikToks, I would absolutely tear.
I say I create content on social media.
So sounds everyone else that posts, you dickhead.
15. 15.
I use Facebook to tell local mums that like bins have been nicked and if you don't know, there's fucking bins have been stolen.
It's a joke. So obviously if you didn't know from the last podcast, me and Harry live together, but our bins have been nicked. So at the moment we've got no bins to be able to put our bins in, so it's not great.
And it's two bodybuilders living together. We go through so much food.
We've just moved in as well, so it's like luckily we're probably going to get the first bin free, but now you have to pay for bins. Is that a joke? What am I paying the council for?
Yeah, I pay the council tax just to pay for a bin anyway. It's a joke, crazy.
Joke, mate. Anyway, what's the next thing? So we've got Pete, obviously DJ. Content creator.
Training.
We'll go to training side. Now, how long have you been training for? I've been training since I was like 18. Yeah. So a long time. But then like, obviously, probably it's been more switched on the past 4 years. 5 years more switched on, and then obviously the past year and a bit with yourself, that's when it's been like to the next level. No, just to clear up. Peter's a client of mine. It's like Harry's on prep right now. Peter's also in a diet.
Man's just out here starving everyone and eating loads of food in front of him. He's like, I'm just gonna make. Before we started, he was like, I'm just gonna make a little meal. Just gonna make a little meal. We're like, what you having? He's like 100 gram of shredded. I'm like, Peter's eating 50 gram of fucking bread with 4 boiled eggs.
That's what we do. That's what we do. So obviously you've been training now for a long time. But what made you switch on over the past 5 years in comparison to, say, obviously if it's 18, what made you want to switch on, say, when you was 31 or 30 rather than like before that?
So that switch was when I watched hypertrophy. How do you say that fucking word? Hypertrophy. How do you say it? Hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. That's my tie coming up.
No English.
I don't speak English.
Hypertrophy.
When in doubt, revert back to no English.
What's he called? Hypertrophy coach on Insta. He's Diesel's coach, Rough Diesel's coach. So him, when I started watching his videos, I was like, shit, right, this is how I should be training. Like, and he's explaining the science behind it and the movements and the tempo and everything. I was like, right, let me try this.
Let me give it a whirl. That's the best thing to do. So many people are so caught up on their like 1% when they're not even doing the other 99%.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just train hard, train with a bit of intensity.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that nailed, then start working on like fucking the nitty gritties, which is what you did, innit?
Yeah.
And it helps. It does a lot for you.
And it was like the discipline of it, just like actually like the discipline and the movements and the way I train. And then I was like, oh, I'll actually see an improvement in it as well. And like it was.
That's when you catch the bug.
Yeah.
So you just start seeing them lines or something popping that used to pop. You're like, hold on a minute.
You're like, well, if I've seen that from doing this, well, what more can I see? Yeah. What more do I need to do to see more? And it's a case of like adapting to that sort of ideology of there's always a little bit more progress that you can make. So you start off by doing the basics of just training, and that training turns to maybe seeing some muscle grown, and then it's like, cool, you've hit a bit of a plateau, you don't see no more change. Then it's like, cool, why am I not seeing no more change? Why is that guy grown a lot over the last year and I've the same? Yeah. And then you just start to go, okay, well, he's doing this, let me try that. Or he's doing that, let me try that. And then you just start to adapt and do more things over time, find what works for you, and it's a snowball effect from there, and you just continue to progress year in, year out.
That's a big thing though, like what works for someone else might not work for you. So I know people that have grown fucking ridiculous amounts doing 5 reps. Like heavy as fuck 5 reps, and then if I did that, I'd probably get smaller. So like, do you know what I mean?
I'd brave kneecaps.
Yeah, facts. I ain't got the tendons for it.
I ain't got the joints fit me.
I'm hitting like them 20-30 rep sets at the minute. Like that's what's helping. That's what I found the best growth with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like bit less load.
It's a mix. It's the intensity. It's like you've got to do a mix of everything. And I feel you've got to be in the middle ground.
Yeah. So there's like, obviously I'm not just doing full fucking 3 sets of 30 reps. I'll do like 2 heavy sets and then 1 back off set, which are usually a lot higher reps, and that's where I've found personally I get the most growth. So I'm just going to keep running with that, keep doing what we do, and it's working. So
keep doing what we do.
Keep doing what we do.
Obviously, after you started to see that change, and then what do you feel like was the biggest struggle initially when you started training, and then when you started to like transition into taking it a bit more serious? What do you feel like was the biggest struggle at that point? So start with the beginning.
Like from the very beginning of training,
18, 19, 20.
Oh, so I was still training all right, but then I was like smashing treadmill. I do like a fucking 30-minute fucking smash.
I thought you said you were smashing trend. I was like, I fucking knew it. I was like, you liar.
I got uncle to send me some. Nice.
Send him my number.
I do like 5k on the treadmill. Before my session though, it was weird. I'd end up doing like a sprint.
Everyone does that.
Yeah.
Like, when I feel like a lot of people when they first start, everyone's like,
you just go to work.
Cardio. As soon as you walk in the gym, that's everyone knows how to do cardio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I was doing sprints as well towards the end. I was sprinting. I was like fucking. I don't know why. Obviously, I used to sprint back in the day in high school. But like I was doing that and then go and do a session. But obviously, when I was training, I was having a good session, like good pumps and stuff. My body was looking. You know, I got quite big. I thought I was looking decent, but obviously there's some stuff I was probably doing wrong. Some stuff I was probably doing all right, but then as it went on, I don't know. It was weird. I had a bit of a gap where I'd still train a bit. I'd do more circuits at one point, and then I got a bit fat, and I had had my son. I mean, not physically, but you know, like that.
Got a bit fat, gave birth, not living up to any stereotypes here.
When you have a baby, you've got to be like hands-on, you know, and obviously I was a hands-on dad, and
Things take a step back.
you just
Priorities change.
you just get a bit fluffy, you know, but you just embrace it.
Embrace the dad bod.
Yeah,
It's not like you live the lifestyle before and to like.
yeah.
It's like for me, when I do have a child, I don't think much will change. I think it will just be a case of like adapting to having less sleep, adapting to having to go train a little bit earlier, or make sure that I'm still eating regular meals whilst obviously managing feeding the baby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think obviously when you're not living that lifestyle, you're getting into it, and then you have a baby. It's like a massive turning point, and the priorities have to shift, and it's not ingrained into your life yet enough to keep up.
Yeah. 100%.
Fucking hell, you'll be fucked when you have a kid. You sleep so much. Rest of like 9 o'clock, this man just shuts down. Is that bedtime?
Not now. But I go to bed about half 10 o'clock.
Pushing it late. That.
But I'll wake up really early, so it's not really a problem. Wake up, obviously go feed the little one.
Got to do night feeds as well.
Yeah,
Wake up in the middle of the night.
that's fine.
I'm just not gonna have kids, me. My sleep's far too important. Like, do you want to get up and feed the baby? I'll be like, is it not your turn? And I do it every night. I'm like, listen, get it done.
It's all different. No, everyone's different. Like when you're in
That's a joke, by the way. I will feed my kids.
When you're in like when you're with whoever you're with, and you know you've got a kid and stuff, it's like you work out a routine. Sometimes the woman might want to be like, you know, I'll do all the feeds, I'll do this, I'll be more hands-on. Whereas sometimes you might want like that 50-50 kind of thing. So it's like,
I'd like to do 50-50. I think like what me and Courtney have already split. We spoke about kids, and I know we've not spoke about like the feedings and stuff like that, but I know for a fact with us it'd be like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
Where maybe she would do something, I would do something, and then like, I would do one feed, she would do one feed. Because I wouldn't want it to be a one-way thing. I wouldn't want it to be you do all the feeding. Because I'd want to watch them grow and do that, have that experience myself. Yeah. The one thing I'm going to have an issue with is fucking wiping booty and like changing nappies, like
wiping butty,
wiping babies' bums and maybe getting pissed on. That's the thing where I'm like, I ain't looking forward to that.
Is it so for me? Yeah, like I've always been the same. Like sick and stuff I can deal with. I've got no problem with sick. Shit, that's trash.
You just stings.
It's just not, especially baby shit as well. It's like dog
proper
food.
Dirty.
It's like.
A lot of yogurts. You know when you've had that yogurt meal on the night, the next morning, that's what it reminds me of a bit, I guess. But
I think these days, I can't wait for the experience in the sense of like, my mindset's changed a lot around kids more recently, where it's like I've always wanted them. I've always wanted them, but it's more. You know, I have always wanted kids, but I feel like I've been so driven and self-motivated with business and stuff like that that it's never really crossed my mind, up until recently anyway. It's never really crossed my mind, and then obviously now I'm like, you know what? I am getting to like 28 this year. I know by 30, I would like a little one. I would like a little one, just because.
See, I've got plenty of time. I've got 7 years till I'm 30. You know, like,
you're a young one, mate. You don't need to worry about
it. I've got other goals and stuff that I want to reach, but I don't want to leave it too late. I'd rather be a younger dad than like I don't want to wait till I'm 30. Because then you're like 48 looking after an 18-year-old. Fuck
my biggest scare has obviously been, and my biggest fear with ever starting steroids in the first place, to be honest, was when you do go down that route, you are putting yourself at risk of becoming infertile. But there's ways and means around it. There's protocols that you can follow and things that you can take, and there's avenues to become fertile again. It's just my biggest fear with taking steroids initially, for example, was I might not be able to have kids.
Yeah. That was mine.
But I know for a fact, I've seen people that have been blasting for 10 years. They have a child when they're on cycle. I've seen guys that have come off and within a few months, they've obviously conceived. So it's one of them where I know it's possible. So my mind's a lot more at ease now.
It's just person dependent as well, isn't it? Like some people can be infertile after the first pin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and others can blast for fucking 20 years, come off a cycle, and then be like, so I'm still conceive.
Oh,
I'm not a lucky company. First pin, I'll be done. I'll have to get it checked in.
I'm natural.
He's not in this podcast.
I haven't tried it.
Dabbled in it yet.
Yeah, dabbled in it.
It was like I would want to get a blood test, and then
need to.
But then I'd feel like if I was wanting to compete then I would.
My opinion on that isn't that. My opinion on it is, I think it depends on the person.
Physique dependent. Like, you've got
what
a very strong.
No, but I think it's what your goal is. So like when people say, "Oh, you should only take steroids if you want to compete," I'm not with that. I think it's more of a case of, like, so many bodybuilders say that, and I think you're kind of a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Because I know guys that maybe started when they were 18. They might have wanted to compete, and that might have been their goal. But they started maybe before they competed. Their goal was to compete, and they knew they wanted that to be the case. But now they're on the high horse, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you should only really want to do this if you want to compete." And I think you would have probably been doing it anyway.
Yeah.
You've just chose that competing route because you live the lifestyle, and you know that you found that love for it and that passion. But some people just want to develop the physique and do that abnormal thing because it's abnormal.
Yeah.
It allows you to take your physique to that level where it wouldn't be obtainable for you naturally.
Yeah.
Or it would be, but within a longer time.
A lot longer time. Like, say for like my progress, I wouldn't have made as much progress as I had without gear. But in the same breath, I regret starting so early into my like lifting career, we'll call it.
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, I don't because I fucking love it. To be honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know what I mean? I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy the process. To be honest, but it's one of them. But yeah, anyway, back to the topic of conceiving kids. Obviously, it's going to happen one day. I think for me, it will just be a case of getting sperm count checked.
Yeah.
Which will happen probably in the next. I would say in the next year and a half, 2 years, I want to get it checked.
I'm probably going to check mine in the next couple of years just to
see where things are at, and then obviously from there, if it's low, I will probably drop down to TRT for a while, just focus on getting that switch back on, and potentially try for a baby. Because I think by 30, I want a kid.
Right.
I do.
But
I just want. I think for me, what it is right now, what would stop me right now is, or right at this moment in time, is 127. I want to feel like I want to. Obviously, mine and Courtney's relationship is still fairly new, so it's like I want to experience life with her before we even do that, because I think you need to enjoy your time together before you even introduce kids into your life, because they will take a lot of time and they will and it's not like your relationship changes when you have a kid. If anything, it grows. But I think it's one of them where I want to experience life a little bit with her first before we even think about that, because that to me is more important at this moment in time.
Yeah, that's
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, it does. I know it will change your life, and I feel like it will change me for the better.
Yeah. Do you think it changed your life?
Oh yeah. It's just life. Just it all has a new fucking meaning. It means once you get a kid.
Like, once you get one.
Yeah, once you get one.
Once you get one.
Fucking, you just it's like right, okay, it's you now. You're like the priority and the focus. So then it's like, okay, now I need to do
what I need to do as a man to provide.
Well, I just need to do better as well. It's like,
to be fair though, like just from what I see from like you and your kid, you've raised him so well.
Yeah, that's good.
Like the way, like even like with obviously his mum, like the way you still treat like him towards her, it's unreal to see.
Yeah,
like.
You know,
I rate it.
You're raising him with good values.
You got to think of the bigger picture and be the bigger man. You don't want to hold any kind of grudges or any kind of
no.
Even if someone's playing hardball, not in my situation, but some other people's situations, if there's someone playing hardball on the other side, you just gotta fucking graft for it. It's like anything else. If you want something, you gotta graft for it. So if you want your child to have, that
good morals
set into their system,
values.
Yeah, you've got to graft for it and work for it. Be patient, I guess. But
that's something that you'll see as they grow up, and obviously you're seeing that now as he's growing up.
Yeah.
Turn into a right little gentleman. I love it. I love seeing it. I love seeing him unfold.
I mean, he can be a dick sometimes. He can be a dick sometimes too, but he's a kid.
He's gonna watch you.
He's my kid too, so he's like, everyone can be a dick. So
yeah, that's it. It's perfect.
And you've got to be. You've got to be as a kid, and then as you grow, you start to adopt the values of your mum, your dad. I feel like I've adopted a lot of values from my mum, my dad.
Yeah.
I've adopted some of my impatience with my dad, and then I've adopted like my personal skills with my mum.
Yeah.
My dad's not that like personal. Like he's not the most social person. My mum's a fucking social butterfly. So
your mum's class.
I've adopted a lot of those.
His mum is fucking class.
My mum is the best. Like to put it easily, she's the best. Yeah. Because she's raised me to be. Now I feel like that's really where, she's raised me to have respect for people. Always have certain say please, say thank you, and obviously that grew as I got older, to respect women, to respect the people around you, to look after your own. And I feel like, and how selfless she's always been with me, like even when they didn't have a lot of money, like now they've got more money because they're retired and stuff like that. But when I was growing up, I never knew they struggled. Yeah. But they struggled and I realised as I got older that they obviously were heavily in debt. They did struggle financially, but I never knew that, because when I was a kid, I'd play Xbox and stuff like that. And if I ever said to my mum, "Oh, this new game's come out," or my dad's, "Oh, this new game's come out, would I be able to get it?" They'd say no, but then within a week I'd get it. And that sounds fucking
spoiled little bastards.
Sounds spoiled, but it's not made me into a cunt, because I understand and appreciate as I've got older. I think it can turn you into a spoiled little cunt.
Oh yeah.
But I think you've got to, as you grow up, I think me moving to Leeds and obviously becoming independent made me appreciate all of that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I've understood the value of money as I've struggled when I moved to Leeds and I had no money, or I was working part-time but I was going out and I had no money to kind of I had money to live, but it was very basic.
Yeah. Surviving, not living.
I was surviving, not living. But then obviously it made it even more valuable when I started coaching, personal training, because going self-employed, it was a whole new world where I would have months where I had debts to pay, I had credit cards to pay off, I had finances that I needed, I had money that I needed to make to pay things off. And there was months that I did really well with personal training, but because my expenditure was so high, I never had anything.
Looking.
I was broke a lot of the time. Yeah. And I think that's just made me into a better person, to be honest, because it's allowed me to understand the value behind money a little bit more, and really respect how they brought me up and how they managed their financial struggles while still having me, and while still giving me the life that they could. Yeah. So it got pretty deep, that, but as it's always going to get in this podcast.
Every 2 episodes in, both times Tom just gets deep as fuck. It's like 2 minutes in and Tom's like, listen, it's deep.
I am quite a deep emotional person though. Like, I would say emotionally, I'm open to go into like my own downfalls, my own struggles, my pitfalls. But I'm also very open towards going through the positives, but be honest about what it's taught me. Reflect. I just reflect on a lot of things.
It's good. Reflection is good, because it's the only way you can. It's like a self-analysis, isn't it, of how to.
That's it. With reflection, you either take it as like you take the shit that's happened to you and you use it as like fuel, or you take it and like you just become a cunt. Yeah. Like there's no two ways about it. You either use your past as like an excuse, or you use it to your advantage. Like I could have very easily been in fucking absolute bellend. Like I was a wanker until I joined army. Like till like 16, 17, I was a fucking prick. My mum said to me, she was like, "I didn't expect you to make it through like 2 weeks of training." My brother and my mum had a bet on.
Really?
My brother was like, "He'll finish it," and my mum was like, "I'll give him 2 weeks."
How much?
I don't know how much it was, but they were both. They said it to me like my first pass out parade. They were like, "We had a bet on that you'd like sack it after like 2 weeks, or you'd get kicked out." I was like, 6 years deep. I only stayed in 6 years because I didn't want to fucking prove them cunts right. I was like, I will stay in. Hate my life, but I stayed in.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've had any? Because I guess we're not on the fitness struggles yet, but like life struggles. Obviously, being 36, you've got more life experience. What do you feel like you struggled with?
Struggles. My God.
Put them on the spot, yeah. Most people revise this sort of stuff.
No, but I like it because this is an honest question.
I guess I don't know. Obviously, being in like a relationship and then that kind of ending with a child involved, even after like quite a serious amount of time, like 8 years, something like that. Obviously, that adapting after that, and then obviously dealing with the son and how they adapt to it, and seeing that, obviously, that was like it's a bit crazy. I like stress related alopecia. I had a big chunk of my hair come out because I was like stressed. Yeah, I was like, it was mad. There was that, but obviously, stuff's not meant to work out. It's not for a reason, and then obviously you want to be happy. You want everyone to be happy. And that, obviously I was happier after. Obviously I was happy during as well, but you could, obviously if we weren't right for each other, we weren't right for each other.
Yeah, that's it, and everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. I'm not a religious guy. I was saying to you the other day, Nick, we were talking about this, I was like, I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a very spiritual guy. Yeah. And not many people realise it. Like,
I'm the same.
Like, I believe everything happens for a reason and stuff, and I believe, like, there's something after you die, but it's like, for me, it's just not religion.
Okay.
Like, if that makes sense.
To be fair, okay, no, that's gonna get a bit deep, but
Get deep.
to be fair, okay. So if you like, because obviously I'm religious, but then that term religion, because I saw a video on this earlier today. Actually, it's weird that you mentioned it, because it's technically I'm not. You can technically still not be religious, because religious is following a religion, whereas I'm a follower of Christ, and just because I'm a follower of Christ doesn't mean you're just like a Christian, because there's the whole Christian faith and religion, which is like, that's where it starts to get a bit deep, because it just gets complicated. Whereas if you're a follower of Christ, it becomes more simple, and you can kind of class yourself as not religious, because if you follow Christ and you follow, just the whole everything about it. It's weird. I think I can't put it into words.
No, I get what you mean. I sort of understand what you mean.
I think it's, for some people, it gives them.
So one of my boys, I know what you're about to say. One of my boys, he's like very religious, like follows Christ as well. Like he's all about that sort of stuff. And I was talking to him about it, like a similar conversation and stuff. And he was just like, it gives you faith in something or something to believe in. It's like, it gives you like something to live for and stuff.
So even when you're down, like, and I'm not religious, but I adopt a similar like philosophy. But it's like, even when you're down, there's always something to look forward to, because you know that even the worst is always going to pass, and there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, it's like when you pass away, when you die, like there's going to be something afterwards to look forward to.
And even if you're dead, you don't know, innit? So do you know what I mean? Like, that's one way to look. You know what I mean?
It's like a morbid way to look at it, but yeah, like when you're dead, you're dead.
That's it though. Like I believe there's something after, and I believe in all that sort of stuff. But like, if they're in,
I believe in energy. I believe that people have got energy, and I think there's something within the mind, within consciousness that's beneath that. There's subconscious, and I think there's a level of energy that we've all got, where I don't think that goes. I think that goes somewhere. I don't know where. I'm not, and like I said, I'm not religious. I don't believe in, like, there's a God. I don't believe in that, but I do believe that there is no way that we pass and something isn't there. Yeah. Because everyone's their own individual, their own person, and their own individual through their conscious actions, but they're also subconsciously always going to be a certain way. And I think that subconscious obviously comes down to experience, but I also think it's ingrained into you because of an energy which you've got from birth. I think some people are the way they are from birth, and I don't think that's made through life. I feel like life changes people, but there's always going to be certain values that you keep, because that is just you as a person. Yeah.
It's funny you mention that. I seen a video the other day where a kid, and literally from the minute he could walk and stuff, he was like tapping drumsticks, but he was making beats and stuff, and he was actually like making sick beats. Yeah. He was like playing like just on tables and like stuff with pencils and that, and he ended up being a drummer and that. And I was like, that's one of them things where he was at that from birth. Like, no one's forced him into doing that. His parents just recorded him doing it and stuff, and then he just stuck with it and ended up drumming. Yeah. Like, stuff like that, I feel you are born with certain things. Like,
yeah. I think a lot of people, they think of God as like this actual person kind of thing. But like the way I is like when you describe energy and stuff like that, I believe that's God. That's like, and God's created obviously the whole everything, the universe, how everything is just, everything is just magically interconnected. Not magically, but interconnected, and it's just like that's what I see it as. I don't see it as like a man in the sky. No, like no.
We'll click that.
He's not just a man in the sky.
I think
that's the thumbnail. He's just in my hat with Tom in a cloud.
Less sourdough. Get rid of your rice.
Pro fats.
But that's it. It's like, but I also think as well, it's why some people just truly get on from the get-go, while some people don't connect. Yeah. Because there's a certain energy that people have, and it's like, no matter how hard you try with certain people, you just will never connect with them, and that can't be fixed. That cannot be fixed. That can't be changed.
And they just don't.
And they just don't like it. But obviously where people go wrong is they try to change their personality to get on with everyone. When I think that is the worst thing that you can do. It's adopting a fake persona to be someone else around everyone to be liked by everyone. I think if you're trying to be liked by everyone, you just become a bit of a mug.
Yeah, I did that when I was a bit younger. So I used to depending on who I was around, I adapted my mannerisms and stuff. Which I agree with in a certain setting. Like you need to adapt how you are, work-wise and stuff. Like you can't be 100% yourself all the time.
No.
But then once I stopped doing that, I found like the relationships you build are so much better. Yep. Like if you're just yourself and you don't change, people fall into your life rather than you changing yourself.
You attract what you are, and you attract the right people into your life. It's the same with my coaching business. I feel like since I've just gotten better on camera and just spoke a little bit more in terms of like my own, I've just been a bit more vulnerable in all aspects, which is why I'm vulnerable when we're doing this stuff, because I feel like
that content
people buy into that, and it's not me saying it to get people to fucking come to me to coaching, but if they resonate with me, I know for a fact if they see those videos and they watch them repeatedly, they already know my journey, they know who I am as a person, they know that we're going to get on, so they're likely to get a better result with me. And I would rather work with 40 guys than 150, and 40 guys that truly value me and I truly value their time, their effort, and we get on, rather than 150 people and I don't like 130 of them.
Yeah, because it's like, it just becomes more stress than anything else. Like if you've got someone who you're giving all your time to and your effort to and stuff, and you're giving them multiple like routes to go down and stuff, and then they just don't put in the work anyway, you're just like, oh, you are actually a prick. Like,
put it nicely.
Yeah, and the victim mentality as well. That's what we could touch on.
We can go into that. Obviously, I had a victim mentality.
Describe this for me.
Victim mentality is where everything is
against you.
Everything's against you. If nothing is your fault.
Yeah. If something goes wrong, there's someone else to blame.
Right.
It's like it's always someone else to blame. Like they don't take accountability. Yeah. Like I'll use an overweight person who's like, I really want to change, and then they just do the exact same thing they've done. It's like, and then they're like, oh, I'm fat because society's like made me like this. No, it hasn't.
Or it's, my missus was eating a bar of chocolate next to me, or she was eating.
So I ate 19 fucking bags of cookies.
So I had to join in. It's like, no, you didn't have to. You chose to.
So it's a challenge.
Everything's a choice. Everything's a choice. What you do in life is a choice. Yeah. Your response to situations is what matters the most. It's like, yeah, she could be doing one thing, but
she might not be a fat cunt, you know.
Right, even if she's a bit bigger, but it's like it doesn't mean you've got to adopt the same. It's like your family, your partner, your environment doesn't need to dictate your level of success. It's down to your own head. It's down to. I hate when people use that victim mentality as a means to not make progress, because it's like, the most successful people might not have had the best upbringing. They might not have had a successful family. They might not have had successful friends, but they've created that success through their own self-determination and drive and the want to be a little bit better and do more with their life. Yeah. And they can be the ones that act as, we talked about this in the last one, where they can act as the catalyst for other people to see that and do well around them, which is what I try to do.
So, yeah. I like working with people who were in the same boat that I was. Like, I've got, fucking hell, I'm in 1, 2, 3. I've got like 4 or 5 lads who are in the army, like, who I'm coaching, and I just want, like, I want to help them the way that I got helped, obviously by my first coach, by Tom. Like, Tom coached me for like a lot of time whilst I was in the army, so it's like, for me, it's understanding them as well, because like, you've had lads who are in the army as well, innit? And like, there's certain things that they could say to Tom and Tom won't have a fucking clue what they mean.
Yeah, you can relate to them.
Yeah. So I understand like a lot of their struggles.
But you also know the bullshit.
Yeah. Like, as soon as someone's like, I can't do it because of this, I'm like, you're lying. Don't lie to me. Don't try and blame me.
You also know when they're telling the truth.
Yeah. They'll be like, I can't do this week because I'm away for like a week, and I'm like, that's fine. Like, I spoke about it last podcast. Mitch, he was away for a week the other day, and he sent me that, like, I got sent a video by one of my other clients who's also a good mate of Mitch's, and it was just them two eating. Obviously one's bulking, Mitch is cutting, he's like deep into it now, he's like nearly 11 kilo down, but he's taken away from, he could have gone away that week and just ate shit. Like, he's deep into a cut now, he's fucking, he'll be in the trenches soon. But but he could have gone away and just been like, oh, I've just had to eat whatever they've made us at Scoff and that. But he didn't. Like, I got sent a video of him. He had a chicken breast, a jacket potato and a bit of cheese, like protein, carbs and fats. And I was like,
it's good.
He's doing that off his own back, and that's why he's getting such a good result, because he's just putting in the graft. Whereas he could have gone away and been like, oh, I didn't have access to any food like this, like I just had to eat whatever they made and that, and just piled like fucking 3 kilo macaroni a week, because he's quite deep into it. So obviously you both know yourselves, like when you get deep into a fat loss phase, you have a few days off, and that scale weight jumps up a lot. Yeah. Like a few carbs go in and all of a sudden you fucking 5 kilo up, you know what I mean? I think about carbs on a fucking cut or a prep and I put weight on.
But let's transition out of that then. So obviously talking about victim mentality, I would say that was a massive struggle for me, where I had a massive victim mentality when I was starting out. What would you say was the major struggle for you that kind of held you back?
For what?
From a fit, let's do life, business, and then let's do fitness. So like from a life and a business standpoint, what do you feel like kind of was the thing that held you back? How did you work on that?
So what business standpoint? I guess I was just doing like, just working for a company. I used to work at Topshop.
Is it? I can see you working at Topshop too.
Folding clothes perfect.
Yeah, little bougie cunt.
Yeah, I was in Top Man, fucking, folding the chinos, and but then I got to obviously DJ there, so they'd pay me for obviously like doing a shift, but I'd get to DJ instead. So I was like, yeah, cool. That's cool. I could do something.
No dramas.
Yeah, and then so that was good. But then I used to teach primary school. Like I used to do it's like an agency that you teach them for an hour, a classroom for an hour. It's like PPA cover. Teach them on iPads, like media. So there was like that. So I was trying to make sure I had just stability work. And then it was like, but then I was like, to a point where I was like, I want to work on myself, and I've had enough returning clients to kind of come back for work to be like, right, I could just do it myself now, and just kind of I just dive. To be fair, I transitioned half. I was doing it and then doing a stable job as well. I was still at Topshop.
That's
and I stopped the teaching. Yeah, and then after I was like, right, I don't need to do this now. I can do this, and then lockdown happened, and I was like, yo, like,
shit. Yeah, I'm probably a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm a DJ. I can't do shit. But I was still getting returning clients coming to me for the graphic design and video work. So that kind of kept me afloat, and it was a tough time, but and then now for the past few years, DJ has been decent, and then obviously my business has still been nice, but I have plans. I need to again still keep ramping it up, take it to the next level. But I feel like
that's what we all are like. There's always that next thing, and when you get there, you're always going to be the same. You're going to say the same thing. There's always that little bit more.
Yeah, I think
proud of where you've come from, but not satisfied with where you're at. That's proud, not satisfied. I live by that. I love that. Like, you're proud of what you've done already. Like, especially for me when it comes to like fitness and like my transformation, let's call it. Like I speak to you about it all the time, and I'm like so proud of myself for like what I've done, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
And truly, it's never really going to be.
No. But that's the best part about it.
That is the best part. There's no think of the end goal.
No.
With anything, you just think of.
But the next step. There never should be a ceiling, and that's the thing. Sometimes people attach a ceiling, and it's this self-limiting belief of, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like this ceiling that you set yourself is limiting your actions. So like if you don't dream big, there needs to be a big dream and then stepping stones to get there. Whilst if you just kind of attach a ceiling there, your actions will reflect on that, and you'll put less work in inherently. So like if for you with DJing, if you don't set yourself a big goal, or with whatever you want to achieve in business, if you don't have that big end goal, and if it's just like a kind of surface level goal, you won't ever really truly put the work in to get together. Because you'll eventually get to the surface level goal, but it doesn't require as much work.
Yeah, exactly.
Whilst the bigger goal might get you to the surface level goal quicker, and then the big goal then becomes this thing where it's like, oh shit, you're getting closer to it.
Yeah.
Because you put more work in.
Yeah.
It leads to more stress. It leads to more anxiety. But at the same time,
once you learn to manage that though, like once you get comfortable in that place you're in, and you can manage where you're at there, then the next goal comes in. Yeah, true. Fucking so far away now. Yeah. And then that next goal comes in, innit? So, like you were saying, there's once you manage that stress and you're all good, then you can keep pushing.
I think that's why you see so many like successful people. They're so into like obviously their fitness, and they're doing some form of like weight training or other kinds of fitness elements, and that's because he builds just that
mental
resilience. That, but yeah, I think that's why it's good.
Well.
That's why it's good, like having a coach from my experience, because obviously you going through these really pushing like experiences, and it just reflects onto everything else in your life.
That's what I say to people every time. That's why I chose to do bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah,
because it teaches you another level of one. I think it shows you what minerals you've got. I think it's like, because when you do truly get to the depths of it, there's going to be way more days than not where you just have nothing. Like you truly would, in the past, you'd look at that and you wouldn't be able to do it. But then when you actually go ahead and do it and you get through each day and you tick off each box every single day, it just becomes one of them where it's like, oh, I've done it yesterday, I can do it again. Did it yesterday, I can do it. I've done it today. It's like, it's a day-to-day thing, but then that also correlates with business, finances, relationships. Any struggles that you go through always tends to feel a little bit easier through fitness, because you've just, or like physique development, in my opinion, I feel like that's the best thing, because you will always challenge yourself to push yourself a little bit more, which I believe builds you as a man. And same for women as well, it builds them. And that's obviously what female bodybuilders go through, and like female fitness influencers, or whatever you want to call them, like whenever they look to change their body, they also build their own resilience, and they go through phases where it's like they wanted to just be slim and toned, and then it turns to like eating more, and then it turns to like, wow,
low weight, high reps, turn the muscle.
But then it turns to eating more, and then understanding the importance of more food rather than being scared of food and fearing food. They then attach themselves to like more food equals good.
Yeah.
And then for guys, it's more of a case of guys don't necessarily. I think as men in particular, I can only talk from personal experience. I can't speak for females, but like for men, we need purpose, and without purpose, it leads to, in my opinion, depression.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have any purpose, you don't have any drive, you don't have anything to tick off every single day.
Yeah.
You then lead yourself into a pit of, I don't feel like I've got anything to work on within my life, which then makes you down day to day.
Yeah, that's why it's good to have
even little goals, like
little goals,
getting up for steps.
One thing that when I started, so obviously after I came out of that my big relationship, and I was quite, I was like, shit, I need to get back into shape. And then I trained with, so I did like a thing with Curtis, big up Curtis, Walter Curtis. He got me really lean, like probably the leanest I ever got at that point, obviously until Tom come in later on. But yeah, big up Curtis, we smashed that. And one thing I got into was my habits. And the one thing I learned, I saw a video, I was like, the first thing this guy did, he was an army general. And he's like, the first thing I do every morning, I'll make my fucking bed. I'll make my bed. That's one goal. That sounds so like
positive reinforcement.
Yeah, a lot of people will be like, oh, I'll just leave my bed. Fuck it, I'll make it before I get in it tonight. It's like when you've made your bed, that's like one job just ticked off straight away, done. In the morning, one goal already. And it's like, you might think it would try it, and it's like, it actually does, like, it's like, yes, it's done. That's nice.
He's positive reinforcement. Yeah. How that genuinely impacts your day. And I feel like...
mine's not made at the minute.
It's not got there yet.
Most of the time it is, but like this morning I was up like earlier than I wanted to be, making some food and then going for cardio. Yeah. I was in here doing my check-in, in my fucking trunks, and Tom's like, oh, Peter's at the gym. I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
But for me, it's the first thing I do. I literally get out of bed. As I get out of bed,
Yeah, but you're a freak. You like, as soon as your eyes are open, you jump out of bed. Man's like, he's like fucking out of bed before his even eyes are open.
Here's a tip for you. Start your day right. If you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, and your alarm goes off and you snooze it, if you snooze it, that's fine, but give yourself a countdown. So like, as soon as you open your eyes, you need to get out of bed. Count down by 3 or 5. Every single morning, if I don't want to get out of bed, which most of the time I just do anyway, as soon as my alarm goes off, I'm out of bed. Count down by 3 to 5. As soon as that hits 1, get out. Get out, do your bed, do what you need to do. And don't come into the kitchen or the living room and then start fucking looking at your phone, scrolling. Like, do the task that you need to do. For me, it's get out of bed, it's do my room, it's fucking shower, it's coming in. It's supplementation.
I need to hold myself accountable here. This is a goal for me now, because I've got a habit of going straight to my phone.
As soon as my eyes are open,
I'll go straight to my phone.
I do my checks. That's like,
even before I go to sleep now as well, I'm scrolling. I need to have, because there's a lot of people now that like, they'll have a cut-off point for the phone, and I feel like that's a goal for me next.
But it's a dopamine killer. What is? But doing that, like, it ruins your morning.
Yeah, what? Scrolling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
scrolling and doing
exactly.
scrolling, TikTok. And what I try and do is I'll get up, that's why I get up so early, because what I'll do is if like today was a little bit later because I just needed that extra sleep and I knew I did, otherwise I'd be ruined. So like I know when to push and when to obviously pull. And it's a case of I will get out of bed, I will see what notifications I've got, but I'll get in the shower after I've made my bed, put my phone on the side, I'll turn the shower on, get in the shower, come out the shower, dry myself, come in here, my phone, I'll start looking at the messages. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm making my HydroFlow, I'm getting the supplements out, I drink the HydroFlow, I'll reply while I'm drinking the HydroFlow, and then I'll have a coffee or Focus Max now.
Which all come from Ultimate Fitness for you.
Ultimate Fitness for you.
I thought you was gonna do it. I was like, no way. I was like,
and Coleman 5 at checkout.
I was like, there's no way he's dropping a sly one in here. I was like, he is.
Discount code in the bio.
It's just a big writing at the top.
Get that.
Thumbnail.
But I feel like that sets you up for the day when you do that. But then if you if you go on your phone and I think it's different from person to person, because I'll hear some successful businessmen that are like, do not go on your phone within the first 45 minutes. Whilst you hear people like Gary Vee, when you listen to what he says, he's like, no, the moment you wake up, you've got work to do, get on your phone, look at the things that need to be done, start messaging people, start doing what needs to be done from your phone. And I'm like, you need to find what works for you. For me,
that's what I do though. Like as soon as I get up, I reply to clients. Yeah. Like as soon as I'm awake, I'm like, they've obviously asked me something whilst I've been asleep that they wanted to know an answer to, so I'll send them message over straight away. And then
I think that matters more when you're truly like very busy, like Christian level busy. I think that at the moment's an excuse for you to go on your phone.
I'd do it anyway.
I guess so if you've got that. I guess so if you've got that kind of thing where it's like, yeah, I'll just message them back, but then you're not gonna go start fucking around and going on.
That's what most people do.
I do it
because you want to be a responsive coach. Obviously, you want to be able to respond straight away to them. So obviously, when you wake up, you're like,
I like to pride myself on the fact that I reply.
So I see that as a good
ridiculously
thing.
quick.
Yeah, so I see that as a good thing. But then obviously, yeah, as long as you've got that discipline of not, then just going on TikTok or.
Yeah, but I don't. See, as soon as my message is I'm like, I give myself a time. So if I wake up, unless I've got like work at like. So when I go for work, I'm getting up at 5. Yeah. I need to be setting off by like 20 to 6. So for me, it's like I wake up 5 minutes earlier, so I'll get up at like 5 to 6.
Right.
5 to 5, sorry. And then I give myself that 5 minutes, and then once it is 6, I've got to get up and get ready, get myself sorted, give myself a little scroll time, just something to come round for me. Like I'm not one of. I used to be where as soon as I'm awake, I have to get out of bed. I can't do it anymore. Mate. Like I like to have 5 minutes to myself. Because I'm not a morning person at all.
Wake up in that.
Like, well, you know that, innit? Yeah. When I wake up, that I'm a zombie.
What's he like?
Oh, I don't talk. No, but I the thing is, but that's why I get up so early, because I like that as well. Yeah. But I don't like being in bed, because what that does for me, if I stay in bed and I don't get out of bed as soon as I'm awake, what tends to happen is I'm more tired for the day. Yeah. Because I've already allowed myself to slow down. Yeah. When I think the first thing that you want to do when you wake up, is start the day quite fast, because if you start slow, you're going to end the day slow, and the day itself is just going to be, in my opinion, when things go wrong, then because you've not already got that fast-paced sort of mentality within your mind, when things go wrong, you allow them to ruin your mood. When for me, nothing will ruin my mood if something goes wrong, because I know that I've already started the days with a couple of wins, so it's not. That ain't going to ruin the rest of my day.
It's like a momentum thing, isn't it? You built like a momentum to set the pace for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Morning routines, in my opinion, are the most the thing that set you up for success.
But again, I feel like that's very person dependent. So your routine won't work for me, my routine won't work for you. But if you have a set routine, like for me, that 5 minutes on the morning that I get up earlier to have that 5 minutes scrolling time, I don't feel like that's a bad thing. Would it be bad for you to do it? Probably. Yeah. You probably won't respond very well to doing that. It'll probably shut you down. But for me, I feel like that's what gets my day started. And then I'm like, right, smart.
That's where the reflection comes in, isn't it?
So
that's where it's like you've got to reflect and be like, right, is this
negatively affecting me?
Negatively impacting me? Because then that's like that's what I've just done now. I've literally been like, right, shit, in our little therapy session, I've realised I am, on my phone and just scrolling on nights and in the morning too much.
And this is where I said to you, like, that kills your dopamine. So, like, how sometimes you say to me, like, you can be slightly stressed about certain things. I do think it comes down to maybe letting that impact your mindset or impacting your mental without you realizing. Yeah. So it's one of them where it does the same for me. When I'm highly stressed, I find that it's just because there's certain habits that I've got in that particular day that's made me that way.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not being productive.
Yeah.
And when I'm not being productive, I feel my mental go down.
Yeah.
And I start to let things stress me out more. So like the biggest thing that used to stress me out was, and we talked about what I was going to talk about on the podcast before we got started, and is stress. One thing that used to stress me out the most was finances, because I've been so broke before to the point where I've had to ask to borrow money and stuff like that from parents. And that's the one thing that's still ingrained into my mind that I'm working on. But I always pull myself back, reflect on it, and think, what's the worst that's ever going to happen? With anything, any stress in my life, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because every time I've been at my lowest or stressed, there's always been a positive to follow from it. And it's never for too long. It's always going to be a short stint of stress. It happens, it's life, I accept it, but it's not forever.
Yeah. 100%.
But I think the more you do certain things that negatively impact your stress, the more it becomes a habit, the worse it becomes.
Yeah. It's like a self-inflicted kind of thing.
Yeah.
As well, isn't it? So,
Yeah. Certain things that you can implement to try and stop that, or to try and reduce it. And I feel like ticking off certain things early doors and stopping yourself from doing certain things that kind of zap your energy will massively impact you more than you realise over time.
Yeah.
That's what's happened to me, I think. And that's where from
I used to be a lot more stressed than I am. I mean, like, even money finances I still stress about now, but like, it's not to a point like it used to be where I'd be like, fuck, it's like crippling.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, if I'm in a bad place money wise, I'm just like, I'll figure it out.
It just works out.
I'll figure it out and I'll sort it out. Even if it's
always figure yourself out.
there's always something you can do. Like, obviously we spoke about it the other day, innit? Like, I lost a client who I expected to lose anyway. But it was like at the worst time it could have come. So it was like the day before the payment was due to come out and stuff as well, which is like, this is what it is. But we was like, Tom sat me down and he was like, are you doing everything you could be doing to better your business?
Yeah.
And like, are you doing all the little things? And I was like, it listed like loads
The
of.
answer was no.
And I was like, nah. And then I started doing them, and like within a week I got 3 clients. So
There you go. It's like, don't be mad at the work you're not doing.
yeah, facts. I'm a big believer in that, and I knew I got comfortable in it. Yeah, that's what it was. I got comfortable.
If you get content, life will bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Life
And then I
will,
was like, right,
show you why you shouldn't be comfortable. You should be fulfilled. You should be happy with the work that you're putting in. But if you get content, that's going to kill you.
But also remember as well, when you're putting so much into, to say, making money, you then need to reflect on how it's going on up there as well, because then it's like, you could be fucking rich as fuck.
I don't know.
I don't bring on a financial level, but then if you're not rich as fuck up here, or even spiritually, like, just, it's not, it's good to have that balance. But then when the scales start to tip, that's when it's like, right, we need to fill this cup up a bit more. That kind of thing. That's one thing I've learned as well, is it's like, yeah, graft to graft, try and make as much money as you can, but then if you're like literally empty inside, with everything else, it's like,
Yeah, like,
how far is that?
if it needs to be fulfilling. Like if money and just having money fulfills you, then crack on. But like, if I don't want to say work-life balance, because I feel like it's cliche in it, but like, if your social life and your work life, one's taking over the other, you need to like sort of bring that back down. Within reason. Obviously, if you want more of a social life and doing less work, if you're financially stable enough to do that, enjoy it. But then, on the other hand, if you're not financially stable enough to enjoy it, don't do it.
So this is when dad life comes in. So like, one thing my dad could never do. I mainly lived with my dad when I was young, and he knew, obviously he was better financially and knew more. Like, he was more switched on financially, everything more stable. So like, when he never could like pick me up from school or like stuff like that, or come to like special things like sports days and stuff like that. So the one thing which I love, is I can work. It's shit. I won't get a Saturday. I get like one Saturday free probably every few months or something like that. That kind of life. But then it's like, I get to take my son to school, pick him up. I get to go to his sports days. I still get to provide, get a roof over his head. That kind of thing. When he gets older, that'll be like, I'll be able to change things around and then be like, right, I can switch more on with work and earning more money as well. But I'm obviously still now, trying to find ways to earn more money and still driving for that goal, but also I have this.
That's what I was getting at.
Thing,
I think I worded it wrong. Like I wasn't talking about.
Yeah.
I meant like finding what works for you in that time.
Yeah.
Like I think I worded it wrong where it went one or the other. It's not one or the other. It's finding that balance.
The balance. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think it came across wrong.
That's what switched it on.
But I also think I don't think balance. Like I don't like balance. I don't like the word balance because I think
I'll chime in on this in a minute.
yeah, but I don't like the word balance because I feel like it's overused. Because realistically, any success that you want in life, there is never going to be any balance. Like I think you can try and be the best. If you're a jack of all trades, you're never going to be a master of none. But I think in this day and age, yeah, you want a successful relation, you want a happy relationship. You want to have a bank balance that allows you to be financially free. You want to have the body of your dreams. You want to give your mum that life that you, or your family that life that they've not necessarily been able to have or make themselves.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the most important thing is to truly put in the work for the thing that you value the most. Yeah. And if that is when you've got a child and when you've got a kid, it's a little bit different because there does need to be an element of yes please go. If they don't, there has to be another element of balance where you are a present dad. Otherwise, yeah, you can make as much money as you want, but you ain't gonna be present for them. So it's different in that scenario. However, it might mean that you do have to put in more work than most because at the end of the day, if you want to give them that life that you would have wanted as a child, they can't be balanced. And balance to me is, I think you're never going to have true balance if you want to be successful. Whether you want a good body, whether you want to be financially free, whether you want to like bring your kid up in a sort of environment where they feel truly happy, but you also can give them everything they want. Like you have to probably just work a little bit more, which means there is no balance.
Of course, there's no.
No, but
we're not talking about like an equal balance.
I think you've got to earn the balance, if that makes sense. So you've got to work to a point where you can pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when you need to push.
Yeah.
When you don't need to push, there's no need to push. You can spend more time with family. Like for you especially, like you say, balancing working and having a kid, like you can do that really well just because of the job you do. And when he gets a bit older, you can push like work a bit more because he'll understand even more. Like right now, if you just push work and barely seen him, I'm sure he'd be like, what the fuck? Like, where's my dad?
And I feel like.
And then you can have all the money in the world, but you're never going to have that relationship.
Well, you'll never get that time back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that'll stick with him for the rest of his life, and he'll always remember that. And it's like
you fuck. Oh fuck. You're how old? Sorry.
36.
36.
Let's remind everybody.
Yeah. No, I nearly said 46. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
How old are you again, you bastard?
You old cunt. No, but like, even at 36, you still remember your dad not being at them sports days and stuff.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
You don't want your kid to be like that.
Yeah, it's weird because you'll remember the most random, most smallest things from when you were a child. Like,
but clearly
it's clear as day, and they stick with it. It's weird, yeah. Obviously, you'll always have good times as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll remember like these little things,
but you also respect their sacrifices.
Of course,
that's the thing. So it's like
when you get older. Yeah, I'm gonna say when you're younger, you don't give a fuck. Yeah. You're like, you've done this.
So why are you not here?
Yeah. But I didn't have a dad, so I don't know. Yeah, let's all go quiet now. No. Go on, feel sorry for me. Give me some sympathy.
Let's get a fucking mini bag now.
So let's talk about it. So then, like, say, imagine now you knew you had a baby on the way.
Yeah.
What are you thinking for that?
Because you 100% like all in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, it's like the other person dependent. If they wanting to keep it, which I support either way. Like, it's not my choice at the end of the day. I can give my opinion, but it's not my choice.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, if someone were like, I'm pregnant, and obviously if I was with them, then I'd be all for it. I'm like, yeah, sound. I'd be the dad that I didn't have. You know what I mean? I'll be a good dad. I know full well I will.
Yeah.
Like, just do everything I didn't get in that sort of sense. But like my mum, she provided. She was a single mum.
Yeah.
For me and my two brothers, but it's just one of them. Like, luckily I had an older brother who big up Cam. He's probably not going to watch it. She doesn't have social media, but.
Do you play like the dad role sometimes?
He still does now. Yeah. He still does now. If I've got any problems, it's like him and Tom.
Yeah.
Like I see them both as like a dad. You would think it but same with my brother. Like me and my older brother were like best mates. Yeah. Same with me and Tom. And then it's like I go to both of them. like if I got problems, I go to both of them. You know what I mean? But my older brother, he's done it since I was a kid. But got a lot of time for him, and if I ever fucking make it big in the world, he'll be looked after. Yeah. So my little brother man on that.
Yeah, man. That's why well, with you, obviously we're not that much difference in age, but I think it's just, I do feel like since I've known you from that start to now, I feel like you've grown a lot. I don't know if I've had an influence on that or not, but I do feel like you've grown a fair bit, and I just think it comes down to you had to want to change to then make that change, but I think at that point there wasn't that direction to change, and I feel like I provided it through the work that I put in. Obviously, you weren't around your brother when you was in the army, but for me, when you worked with me, you could see what I was doing, obviously see what sort of things I was talking about in check-ins, and then how I would approach things through social media, and then you've just kind of adopted that, and then now you've wanted to kind of do the same.
Yeah, like say I wouldn't be coaching now if it weren't for you. Yeah. Like I wouldn't have even started for a long time, because like
you weren't doing any of this.
No, mate, speaking on camera, don't be stupid.
Like, they'd be like, this is just boys having a chat.
Yeah,
I'm camera watching.
I'm a confident person, like in life, but when it comes to like having a camera on me and speaking to a camera and stuff, like you've seen it firsthand when we've been doing content together and stuff. I crumbled, like I hated it. But like back to the whole coaching thing anyway. Like it's sort of imposter syndrome is the word, and like limiting self beliefs. I wouldn't have started when I did if it weren't for you pushing it as well. Like I said, I wanted to do it at some point. You was like, well, why wait? Start it earlier.
Start imperfect actions better than no action at all.
Yeah, that's literally what you said to me on that phone call. Like we sat for a good few hours speaking about coaching and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And even, do you know what it is, right? Even if I got one client and they weren't paying, like I wouldn't have been asked. If I was making one person's life better and I was changing one person's, like helping one person, like you helped me, then I'd have been absolutely fucking happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think it's important just to understand that, like, yeah, coaching's a business, and what I do is I'm trying to run a business, but at the same time, it's like, and I want to be successful, and there's no beating around the bush. Eventually, I do want to be financially free, and I think that's when I'll feel comfortable bringing someone else into their life as well in terms of having a child, because I've always said that I want to be able to feel like I can financially provide for my family and people around me, and then give them a life that they could dream of. That's what I want. But at the end of the day, I feel like within coaching, if you just go straight for money and that's all you care about, you don't build relationships, you don't change people's lives, and you build a bad name for yourself. When if you treat it like a slow burner and you actually take your time to grow as a coach, as a person, and help people and genuinely care, that's in the long run, that makes more of a difference, and that brings money in anyway.
It always shows. You can always tell when someone's in it for the money. You can just tell by if their service, the business, the brand, everything. You can just tell, like it shows later on down the line.
Of course it does, and they always get found out. And it's like there is coaches out there charging £300-400 a month for online coaching. Yeah, I know, and I know.
It's all the influencers that I find. It's all the people who've got a good physique anyway, naturally, like good genetics, and then they market it when they've got like 40,000-50,000 followers.
Well, some of them are good, because like some of them charge it are genuinely good coaches, but I genuinely do not feel like any online coaching service is worth £300 or £400 a month. No, I don't. I just don't think it is. I don't think it's worth that. I think it's
unless you're at the top of your top level, like say you're like Christian's level, I can understand him charging a fair bit because of how in demand he is. But then again, that's why he's brought on some.
But then even top level, I think top level is £250 for an online coach for physique development. If it's optimization of health, that's different. I think there's coaches out there that charge a little bit more, charge $350, $400, but they are health optimization coaches. Right. But I know general fat loss coaches that charge £300-400 a month.
Right.
That is never going to be worth it, because what are you going to get from a fat loss coach charging that, like that pay that, other than you're paying more, you might put more work in, but the normal person isn't going to pay £300-400 a month. But obviously they're not targeting them. They're targeting people that are making more money, are able to invest in more money, and then that is then inherently going to mean that they've got to do less work for more money.
And some people do that even just because they say they just get shared to their stories and their socials, and they're involved with this person's kind of life, that some people, they'll just pay into that as well because they like it because it's like the social aspect, and which is fine. People do what they want to do. People spend money on what they spend money on, and it's like, but yeah, it's crazy.
And the value of coaching, I think, is always going to be with the relationship that you build with the client. Yeah. I think if you can build a good relationship with your client, they're more than likely going to stay on.
Yeah.
And it's not just about staying on though. They're going to put in the work. Yeah. It's like you can tell a few weeks in if you're going to gel well with a client.
Yeah.
Like after that first few weeks where they're in the routine, the habits are set. Like if you're not going to gel well on a personal level, it's so clear.
But that's that could just be down to people's personalities as well. I bet. So
you
won't take it personally if like someone's like.
If someone said to me, "Look, I don't feel like me and you align very well, but I feel like I align better with Tom," I'd be like, "That's absolutely fine. I've got no problem whatsoever with people being like, I don't think we align." Like if we do so I do a call. It's not a sales call. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like we'll jump on a call, we'll talk, we'll see if we're a good fit. If you said at the end of that call, I don't think we're a good fit to work together, I'd be like, that is absolutely fine. Yeah. Because you won't go into a phone shop and buy a fucking like Nokia when you wanted an iPhone, would you? If you feel like you're going to work better off an iPhone than you are a Nokia, you won't buy a fucking Nokia, would you? That's how I feel like. Yeah. It's the same way. I'm sure you've had people being like, that have worked with you and you've been like, I don't think this is going to last long.
I've had it more so in PT than I have got online coaching, to be fair. I've had maybe a couple of online coaching clients that I like it, but when I was PT and obviously you work with anyone and everyone and you work all hours of the fucking day, that's where you notice it more. And you do get anyone through the door and you don't get on with everyone because you're there with them for an hour, sometimes to 3 hours a week. And when you don't get on, it's one of them where, they're paying you for that help to change. But at the end of the day, I notice those ones and those people don't tend to stick around. And if they do, it's never enjoyable for me. Yeah. And the one thing that I always love about my job and what I do is I feel like it's enjoyable. It doesn't feel like work. Sometimes I feel like a bum. Yeah. Sometimes I genuinely feel like a bum. Even though I work hard and I try and do things and I'm always trying to progress, I feel like a bum because I know people that are out there working within a job they hate, and I feel like they're working harder than me because they hate it. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm still just working just as hard, but I've chosen to do something that I'm passionate about. Yeah. Which means it doesn't feel like work. Yep. 100%. So I feel like I'm doing less, but I'm not. I'm still doing just as much. Yeah. My mind is always switched on. I'm always thinking about that next thing. But because I'm working from home and I'm working for myself and I'm making money that way, it's like sometimes I feel like I'm not working as hard as someone else because they're working a job that maybe is a 10-hour shift or 10-hour, like maybe 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm like, fuck. But then
but I'm doing both, and I've just had like pretty much 2 weeks off where I've just like done a fair bit towards coaching in it, and like I go to work a 10-hour shift, and I'm like, this is fucking. From the minute I get there to the minute I leave, I'm like, this is shit. And then like this last 2 weeks, I said to you in it, I was like, this last 2 weeks, I pretty much like it's felt like I've been a fucking full time, and it's been good. Like I've actually enjoyed having that time to not sit, but like train, get my routine. Like I've had such a good routine this last few weeks. It's been like getting up in the morning, doing fasted cardio, coming back eating, doing check-ins, changing people's plans. That time that I don't usually get. I get 3 days off a week like in a row, so it's not too bad. But like getting that time to actually sit and plan stuff out or make changes rapid, which I do anyway. Like they always get done same day if they're needed. Like, but yeah, like having that time this last couple of weeks it's driven me a bit more to be like, you need to be building this up to be full time in like the next year. Yeah, like, that's my goal anyway. Spoke about it in the last podcast. Like I want to be full time. The next 12 months.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully, once I get a good few more results, like these boys that I've got in at the minute and girls, grafting. And both. I've got more than two. I meant both like men and women. Yeah. All smashing it, to be fair. Like everyone's doing really well. Just got another couple of lads starting. I've got one starting next week. Yeah. After his uni course finishes, so
nice.
But I've just had a couple of lads join that have already got very, very good start points. So that should be good. Yeah, man. What's the plan for you next? And obviously you've got the photo shoot coming up at the end of the year.
Yeah, so I feel more motivated now. So obviously we've come out of the bulk and done the kind of little maintenance. We did a little like, what do you call it? A bit more of an intense fat loss phase for like a few weeks, mini cut. But yeah, it's like, it's weird now when you're in like an actual prep for like, what I felt like when we did it last time, you're just a lot more like, just focused and a lot more
goal driven, isn't it? Because you've got that end goal, you work hard. We spoke about this in the last podcast as well. When you've got an end goal, most people naturally will work harder because they've got the time cap.
Yeah, and it like has a knock-on effect on everything else in life, so it's as well. It's weird. I'm not saying that I just slowed the fuck down when I got fat, but like.
Yeah, but you never actually. Do you know what it is, right? It fucks me off because you never actually got proper fat. Like
I got fat, bro. There's that when we did that. There's that video of us, when we were doing like the posing in the mirror and stuff, and I was looking at it like, shit, I'm fucking chunky now. Like,
yeah, but I think as well, what you got to realise is when you're natural, you're predisposed and you're going to carry a little. In fact, without looking as lean. But at the end of the day, it has relatively been a controlled rate of gain. Yeah, and you've had the ability to be able to push throughout and keep the food nice and high and hold a decent body composition. No, is it perfect? Could you have been leaner? Potentially, but that's if we were going for like a fucking 40-week push-up. But the goal was never really a 40-week push-up. It was do a proper gaining phase, your first proper gaining phase, which is always going to be, in my eyes, shorter than your longest, because realistically, you can have a gaining phase for when you're natty for 40, 50 weeks. It can be a full year with maybe a short stint, like a short 2-3 weeks pullback.
We did that enhanced though.
Yeah,
like we did like pretty much fucking a year and a half.
That's what it should like be. That's what it should.
Yeah, because that's where you make progress. You don't make progress being lean on.
Whether you're natty or not, but I feel like obviously for you, it's your first time probably pushing up and getting to a uncomfortable state, and I feel like to get the tissue that you wanted and we needed, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to carry a little bit more body fat, and it's like me, yeah. When I went from 23 to 24 in terms of the prep, I got fat in that gaining phase with Christian, but it was 26 weeks of pushing up. Yeah. And when I competed in 2024, I was 14 pounds up in stage weight and leaner. Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah, you look... The comparisons... Put a comparison on.
I'll put a comparison on the screen.
Here.
Right here, 2023 and 2024, 14 pounds up. And that's literally just because I think some people do respond a little bit differently, and also it's going to come down to where you carry the most amount of body fat. Do I feel like you can maintain better body composition? Yeah, I think most people should, and that should be the goal. But what it allowed me to do was still go for one off-plan meal a week, sometimes two, but I stayed consistent throughout that and stayed consistent with the amount of food that I was eating throughout the process. And as long as I was consistently training hard, which I was, it's allowed me to then build that tissue. Yeah. So I think it's just a case of you have to just allow yourself to just get a little bit fatter, a little bit sloppier, but understand that is what's going to get you the tissue as long as you are pushing yourself in the gym and creating that environment to change.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it, to be honest, and that was the best. That's the heaviest. I think I've been that heavy before in life. Obviously, I didn't look that good or that decent.
Best body confidence.
Best body confidence. But like even like people would say, "Oh, you look better with weight on and stuff as well."
Everyone says that.
Yeah, so
I get out
of the time. Hold it in nice places.
I do it until I take my top off and you see me go. That's it for me. So like, you were saying it to me the other day, like. I barely carry much fat around my legs. Like I still have lines at 101.
Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, your legs are fucking.
I still had like a lean enough back where you could see like separations to an extent.
Just your belly.
My midsection of my chest when I bulk it, my chest, like most people's chest gets massive when they bulk. Mine disappears.
Like a slightly built ball.
It's because you've got big.
I'm shoulder dominant.
So that's going to hide the pecs when obviously there's a bit of fat bulk.
As soon as I carry a bit of fat, I swear to God, my chest disappears. I said it to you like before we did the last cut. I was like, my chest hasn't grown. My chest looked flat on photos and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I've been gaining for so long.
When you dieted, and
then we dieted, and my chest came out nicely. And like even now at 90, what was I this morning? 94.
94.8.
94.8. Down from 101. Carry water weight. My chest has already come out so much, and like my midsection's tightened up a lot, and that's with like 5 kilos. We'll say 4.5, 5 kilos of loss.
Are you all right?
Yeah. Just from doing like the I think at the top part, my abs was still showing, which was like rare as well for me with that weight. So he's like, I was quite surprised with that, and obviously I could tell just from all the fucking ab workouts. Obviously since starting with you was like.
Makes a difference.
Paid off, yeah.
But your legs have been the strongest they've ever been as well. Apart from the fact that when you've not been able to train them, but that's different. That's it's shit. Injury, you get a little injury, you can't avoid that a lot of the time, but you can work around it. And I feel like your legs got the strongest they ever were, which obviously is a big indicator that you've done something. You've built with some tissue.
Definitely. I could just see as well, like my legs just fucking. That was the one thing I loved the most. Like my legs were actually getting bigger, whereas before they were. It was like struggling more. I think that was more of a connection issue as well, and more just pushing myself more. I was always conscious of legs and just be like, I thought I was just gonna fucking get an injury or fuck up my knee or something.
I'm in the same boat, so I've had a fuck knee for years, so once it starts feeling alright, like at certain points in the last couple of years, it's been like painful to walk and stuff.
Yeah.
So training had to take a back burner, which is again why I'm not one to make excuses. Like my knees, my legs aren't as good as they could be and as good as they will be in future. But when my knee does feel alright and I'm training, I was apprehensive to push. Like you've seen it as well when we trained together, and I was apprehensive to push.
Yeah.
And then when I did start pushing, I was like, fucking hell, I'm stronger than I thought.
Yeah.
And then I started racking up a bit too fast, and then my knee goes again. So it's managing that joint to muscle ratio. So it's like, I might be able to lift it, but can my joints handle it?
Yeah.
Like it's
So you got to build up slowly.
Yeah, which is what, especially with the new hip press that we've put in. I've just been building up very slowly, and it feels good. So knees doing all right. Touch wood, please don't go.
What are the topics we've got written down? We'll carry over to something else.
That goes on quite well. To be fair, muscle building struggles that you found.
Some men's fit explain stuff. So, what did you struggle with when it comes to building muscle? What do you feel like was the biggest issue with building muscle for yourself? Or do you know?
Issue generally or certain parts?
Generally.
I guess pushing to that actual failure and actual like
Apprehension of intensity.
Yeah, that and like I said when I used to train before, we're just like tempo. I feel is quite important, but then obviously there's the whole thing of actually like fucking going to war,
recruiting more motor muscle units or motor units within the muscle, which is obviously then going to require your body to adapt and change.
Being more mindful of actual movements and exercises that you'll get a better connection with than others, and it's like just fucking do the ones that feel the best. That's like Dorian Yates always says, just make sure you're doing those exercises that you're gonna get the best fucking out of the muscle with.
Yeah, because I had a guy ask me the other day in the gym, so he's seen the video on Ultraflex's page. Yeah. So he stopped me and said, "Oh, I love your videos," and he was like,
"Celebrity."
Yeah. Ultraflex celebrity. But yeah, he was saying,
"Can I get it yesterday?"
What's the best fly? Like, is that fly the hoist fly, the one that moves? Is that better or is that one better? And I says, have you used both? What do you get on better with? Because at the end of the day, they both do the same thing. You're putting the muscle in the chest in a stretch position, and you are squeezing, so you're obviously allowing that chest to contract in the middle. Like, what do you feel the best connection with? I said the only difference really is with certain flies, you might not get as deep of a stretch than what you would with a hoist because of how it moves the chair. But obviously, I know some people that don't get on with that. I know other people. That's what I mean. But I also know
it just takes straight delt for me.
But I know people that get on with it really well. So it's like, if you choose something, I says, it's like the incline presses or the leg presses. There's like fucking 5 or 6 leg presses. Which one do you get on better with? Where can you get the most depth? How can you get the most knee flexion? Are you able to control the weight? Does your bum lift off the pad? Are you bringing in more hips than you are like keeping your quads engaged? Like, what's the best thing for you? It's like they all do inherently the same thing. Yep. It's finding what works best for you as an individual. Same with bench press. I don't get on with the bench press. I think it's shit. For me.
I don't get the best connection. I just wanted to run it up, see what I can lift.
Yeah, I think it's an ego thing.
That's the ego thing. But again, like, because I've got chest 3 times a week, or some sort of chest 3 times a week, because obviously that's a lacking part. I know that when I was doing flat bench, I was still getting something out of it because I was getting stronger. And then the other times where I'd go in and do like a flat machine press or a different flat machine press. So I'd do like a laying one, and then on one day, and then I've got like a seated flat press on another. And I feel like that's where I've seen the most growth. Obviously what works for you, like we said earlier, isn't going to work for someone else, but it's all person dependent. If it works for you, fucking run with it for as long as you can until it doesn't work for you anymore, and then find a way to make it harder.
Yeah, I think the biggest muscle building struggle for me when I was like, before I ever started coaching PT and whatever,
not enough gear.
Yeah, not enough gear. Not enough test in my system. No, for me it was just it was progress. It was just understanding that training doesn't need to be as overcomplicated as you make it, but at the same time, it needs to be standardized. So you've got to have a program that you can follow and stick with. You've got to be able to do similar sets within each session and monitor recovery. Because if you go in one session and do 2 sets, the next session you do 3, another session you do 1 and loads of drop sets, it's like it's always different. So your recovery capacity is always going to be changing, and there's never going to be that room to progress in one particular movement in one particular session. So you might recover from one session, but you might not recover from the next. If you're not recovering, then obviously it's a little bit too much, and you're not going to adapt to grow. Another thing was providing my body with the fuel that I needed to be able to grow. So it's all well and good training. You learn to train hard, you train well, you follow a training program. But if you're not in a calorie surplus and you are not being consistent with your food, you've not got some sort of optimization with your pre-workout meal and post-workout meal. And all this sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just a case of looking at your food and going, what do I need to focus on right now? Can you see your dick? If you can see your dick, that's a good thing. You probably
I can't see mine when I'm lean.
you probably want to gain and go to a surplus. If you can't see your dick, you probably need to diet.
If you haven't got a dick, don't listen to him. Can you see your dick? No, deficit.
Great advice. No, it's what if you carry a little bit too much body fat. I think the way that I see it is, if anyone comes to me, sometimes they might be in a position to gain from a body composition standpoint, but their habits don't allow that. Right. So it's like sometimes people need to go into a small deficit just to gain the habits, because it's easier to diet and see that quick instant gratification to change than what it would be to gain where it is slow, because then they might fall off quicker. So we develop the habits, we see quick routine, we get some quick wins, that mentally puts them in a great frame of mind to be able to push. Other times it's a case of they are a bit fatter, but they want to build muscle. So it's like, you ain't going to build muscle in an unresponsive state when you carry more body fat. You'll just get fatter. So it's like, you need to understand the person from a goal standpoint, but in the individual needs basis. Like, what do they need to do based off of where they're at?
But again, most guys, someone wants something doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
No, but that's where coaching comes in. That's where guidance comes in. And I think it's one of them where muscle building is very simple. It's you do need to be in a calorie surplus to be able to build muscle efficiently. But if you're new to training, you can be in a calorie deficit and still build muscle, but then the aggressiveness of the calorie deficit makes a difference. So it's like making sure that you control that. If you're in a great position to build and be in a calorie surplus, then it's like, okay, how can I manage this surplus in a way where I don't just get fat and gain loads of weight too quickly? Because that and we've all been there, we've all done that, and it's just a case of making sure that you have an element of control within whatever phase you're doing. So my muscle building issue was just, 1, I never spent long enough in a surplus when it was time to be in a surplus. 2, I'd get too fat too quickly because I'd treat it as a phase where I could be a little bit more lazy. I could just eat, and that I thought that would be enough, but it's
more
not.
Food, no cardio.
And 3, it was optimization of food around the training window where it's going to be utilized the most. So pre-workout meal, making sure that I'm having something relatively consistent that digests well that I can use for training. And post-workout, it's making sure then I'm replenishing what I've lost when I've trained and helping my body recover through like the implementation of protein post-workout, which again, massively helps with the recovery process. So your training is getting help by your pre-workout meal and already starting that recovery process. The post-workout meal is again facilitating recovery, which means that you are going to grow more. You keep that consistent alongside a steady surplus. That's without just going off the rails. It's not about being a robot or not having anything on track or off plan. It's a case of if you eat loads of shit, expect and have zero control through the week, you're going to get fat. And you ain't going to be able to grow for long enough. And they all work hand in hand.
Yeah, I did that after I was with my first coach and before I started working with you. So with that gap between working with my first coach and working with you, I was like, I'm going to do it myself. I spoke a little bit about it on the last one. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a bulk myself. Every good habit that I put in place with my first coach out of the window. I was like, oh my God, this is so much food. I'm just getting one. I was like, oh my God, I'm putting size on. I got fat. I put a photo up of that first bulk, like I was skinny anyway when I finished that first one because I didn't have the muscle mass. It was quite an aggressive cut, but that bulk, I was like, oh my god, I look sick. Fuck me. I swear to God, if I look like that now, I'm not gonna say it because
You'll get banned.
I wouldn't be happy if I did that now. If my body composition looked like that after a gaining phase, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like in my last push up, because it was 60, was it 16 or 20? 20 week before prep. Like we came out of a diet, decided we're gonna do a prep. We're like, right, we're gonna push until like the time before prep. And I put on, what was it, 87? And I lean at my
86,
lightest.
86 point, like high 86s.
High 86s.
Up to 101.
Up to 101. But strength was at an all-time high.
Which is a massive indicator that you built some muscle.
Yeah, training was good for a while, and towards the back end, I was just fucking absolutely sick of the sight of eating, to be honest. I was coming home, I was like, oh my God, I'm still full.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'd eat a meal. I remember one time, I was eating fucking yogurt at like 11:30 at night, bro. And I swear to God, we got to a point where the texture of yogurt, I was being sick. I was like, putting it in my mouth. I was like,
oh man, yeah.
That was a low point. And then I was like, I'm so ready for prep. And now I'm like 3 weeks and I'm like, fuck me, I'm hungry.
That's like when I was on prep for the photo shoot the first time around. Cream of rice was like, yeah, I needed that because it's really filling, satiating. But then like during the bulk, which was the best bulk I've never ever done with this, like I never stayed that consistent with food and done it in a bulk phase. So obviously it was good, but I had to take out the cream of rice and I had to have something. I had to put in bagels in the morning because I couldn't have that much cream of rice. It was like beyond, well, one, it was like a time thing, so I was like, right, I'm gonna get my son to school, and I need to fucking eat all this. So it was like, shit, whereas if I had like bagels, I could get them down me.
Yeah.
So I had to do that.
At the end of mine, like my cream of rice pre-workout, in the off season and my cream of rice pre-workout now, the only difference is 5 grams.
Yeah.
So it's 5 grams less, but in the off season, I was like, this is far too much cream of rice. I was like, I can't eat it all. And now I'm like licking the bowl and that. I'm like, this isn't enough. I'm like, I need more. But that's like my favourite meal of the day. I'm eating it and I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying it. I'm eating it with a baby spoon. I'm enjoying every bite. I'm like, this is class.
But you need certain foods that you can have within any phase, where it's like your food choices don't necessarily change from a diet to a gaining phase. However, when you get deeper into a gaining phase, you do have to go for more palatable things that still digest well. So you might not have a bagel in a dieting phase, to be honest, unless you're a normal person, then I'll still put it in. But for me, I don't have it in because I feel like I could just eat and eat and eat and eat, and it's never going to be satisfying. If anything, when I get to the end of the day, I'm still starving.
Yeah.
So it's like utilization of certain foods, like in a diet. This will be a good thing to touch on. It's like potatoes, jasmine rice.
Topics anyway.
Potatoes, jasmine rice, sourdough bread, digest really well. Cream of rice for me, oats. I prefer oats over cream of rice in a diet purely because it's high in fibre, high in protein, a little bit more satiating. And then when it comes to protein intake, then it's going to be differentiation or different. The differences that I'm going to implement protein-wise is just going to be lean protein sources, 0% Greek yogurt fat, some yogurt. 5% mint, Greek yogurt. The 0% yogurt, and then fruits as well. Fruits is a massive thing that people kind of underestimate, and veggies, because veggies is one of those where in my previous pushes, like gaining phases, have always taken a back seat apart from this time. But one thing that people don't realize is when you are utilizing veg, in a gaining phase, it's for a different reason. In a diet, it's for volume, it's for higher fiber, it's for the nutrients, to make sure food is moving properly and digestion's in check. Because if you're digesting your food properly and you're moving your food through your gut properly, you're going to be able to go to the toilet more, and you are going to be able to digest your food better, and you're going to feel better day to day. Whilst if nothing's digesting, generally what's going to happen is scale weight ain't going to move.
Yeah.
And then you think you're slugging and flogging yourself every day to be able to diet and lose this weight, when body fat might be coming down, but you're not realising it because your scale weight is staying the same because your digestion's not in check.
Yeah.
So you're holding subcutaneous fluid. So outside of the muscle, you're holding water, you're retaining all of that. And until you correct your digestion, which can be done through fruits, water intake, and obviously general fibre through veggies, that's when weight will start to move because your body is going to be able to move and shuttle the food around.
Yeah.
Which people don't realise. And obviously volume as well. Volume eating, it's massive. People don't utilise that enough.
I'm fucking big on volume eating. Like, not in, obviously, I volume out my food in prep a lot, but like, when it's just normal fat loss phases and stuff, like the volume of food that I eat to the calories that I actually intake, my calorie intake compared to like the volume of the food I eat. People are like, oh, you're not starving all the time. I'm like, no, not really, because I'm absolutely smashing in fucking like a full lettuce a day and that.
But it will get to a point on prep where no amount of veggies is going to...
No, I know.
You're still going to lick the bowl clean.
But like for just general population, like when you are just in a fat loss phase, don't be scared of like, you don't have to eat fuck all to lose weight. Like you can eat a lot of food for very little calories. It's just making the right decisions and like putting stuff together that you actually enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, what's the point?
But listen, yeah, if you say you're hungry and you're dieting, but then you're like, you're not eating more veg, you're not eating a good amount of fruit, and you're just complaining that you're hungry, and then that's leading you to snacking, you're being a lazy bastard. That's the truth, and you're not actually that hungry, you're bored. So it's like, it's kind of remembering that you're probably not that hungry if you don't enjoy certain foods, because I'll be honest, when you are truly hungry, even the foods that you don't normally like, you start to like.
I'll eat oatmeal. I will actually, if you say to me, yeah, if someone comes up to me and they're like, look, we've got this thing, it's 1 calorie, but it tastes like arse. As soon as I'm starving, I'm like, oh my God, this is the nicest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
It's just something to taste. A bit
Yeah,
of hot sauce, it's fine.
A bit of sriracha, and I'm like, yeah. That's another thing about low calorie sauces. People love eating, like when they're in a deficit, everyone's like, oh, how do you eat like the same thing every day? But we spoke about it, innit? I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but it's like, people, I couldn't eat on a meal plan, but growing up and stuff, they knew what they were having on a certain day because it's what their parents made. So they're eating on a meal plan. It's just a completely different style of
Or when
meal
they go
plan.
to school, every Friday, pizza day.
Yeah, like
or fish and chips.
It's everything in life's habit.
Yeah.
Like, so I knew growing up, like on a fucking Wednesday, so I'm probably going to come on and spag ball on. You know what I mean?
There's too many options now. That's the difference. It's like there is too many options, and people have got used to variety. Where it's like they do have the ability to go to the local takeaway and choose a variety of different options off the menu. But most of the time when they go to a takeaway, they'll order the same thing every single time. So it's like you don't really want variety. You just want
a change.
You just want a slight change. So you know that you can't make a Chinese at home. So you're going to go to the Chinese and still have the same thing every single time, but it's different to what you can make at home.
Yeah.
And someone else is making it for you. Whilst if you're making the food at home, you might not be very good at cooking. You might be limited with your cooking skills. So then it's just a case of you just have to get better at cooking. And you just have to start to get a bit more creative and start to utilise these sources.
I was going to touch on this. So like, again, with people saying, oh, I couldn't eat the same thing every day. It's like, yeah, but I don't eat the same thing every day. I eat the same... I eat the same food ingredients.
Yeah, but there's like
every few weeks it'll change. Like yesterday, we bought different seasonings.
Yeah.
Like for my mince and my chicken, tastes completely different. It's the same food, it just tastes absolutely different. Change your veggies, change your sauces.
Yeah.
Like.
I don't like chicken. I don't know how you eat that chicken and rice every day. I don't know how you do that.
Oh, what do you get? What do you get for
the weekend? I went Nando's.
Chicken fried rice.
The fucking chicken and rice.
Yeah.
It's one of them where you just need to understand how to cook it, how to season your food properly, how to use things like marinades and stuff like that. And obviously, I've got to be careful with marinades because it's calories. But at the same time, most people that are probably listening to this don't need to worry about the marinades. They need to worry about the takeaways. They need to worry about the snacking. They need to worry about getting more protein in. So it's not like you need to worry about these little things, these nitty-gritty things. Yeah. It's only from our standpoint where it's like when we go to a diet, if you use a marinade that's 100 calories per pack, that's an extra 100 calories that you could have taken off.
Yeah, but you do that 2 meals of the day. You marinate 2 meals of the day. That's an extra 200 calories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that makes a difference to us, but not for a majority of people.
No, normal people.
But what we do is not normal. How we live is not normal. No. Doing meal prepping is not normal. And me and my mate Dom, we were chatting about this because obviously he works in the police now. So when he does what he does, he's looked at and what he's shown them what he's doing with me, and obviously he's showing them me, and they're all like, fuck, he's massive. I look at myself and I feel small as fuck. But it's like, to the average person, it's like, I've got a decent shape. I'm like, I still feel small as fuck, and I probably always will until I reach disgusting heights. But I won't ever get there because I don't want to get there, and I won't push as hard as I need to get there. Because that's when it gets. That's when it dangerous. Requires a level of push from from a drug standpoint, which I'm not willing to do.
Right.
I'm not willing to get there. When it comes to looking stupidly big, no one natural is ever going to look stupidly big, to be honest. And they're always going to have that element of, they look good, they look like they train, but they're never going to, no, you're not going to walk in and go, fuck it, what was that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when someone's at that level, there is no doubt that they're going to be taking steroids.
Yeah.
Some people have a better response than others, but for someone like me, I don't have that genetic response.
No.
So I would have to take a copious amount of gear, which I am never willing to do. I'm not going to be willing to do that. I fucking hate pinning as it is.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it is the bane of my existence. Coming out of a health phase, it's like twice a week. I'm like, this is nice. And then now it's up to like 4. You're potentially going to go to like 5 times a week, and I'm like, fuck me, I can't be arsed.
Really?
Like a fucking sewing pin pad, mate, you know what I mean? It gets like Thursday, I'm like, fuck me, I've not got anywhere else to go.
Also, just like the tissue hurts, obviously, around.
You build up a scar tissue.
Yeah, right.
So especially if, I know people that like will just do the glutes.
Yeah.
And I personally
But eventually you can't do that.
You can't, like, at a certain point, you're doing it and it's just killing. And it's like, it's not even worth it. Sitting down hurts, like stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I've got it in my shoulder at the minute where I can't do my shoulder because
It's too much.
it's like, I Monday video, I just went through scar tissue, it just hurt like fuck, and then I had like a big fucking welt on my shoulder, so it's like...
It tells you when you need to take
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll know when, if obviously you're watching your own gear, you'll understand, like, at a certain point.
Or you might not understand.
And if you are still carrying on through that, you're a fucking better man than me.
You're not, you're a fucking idiot. And you just need to man up and fucking pin somewhere else. What are the topics we got now?
That's just going to get me doing a mad breath.
We can cut this bit, to be honest.
What you know now compared to what you knew when you started training, but I feel like we've kind of touched on that. That's it. With it being Mental Health Week, we'd like to touch on like what nutrition and training and stuff has done for like obviously you, me, like what it does for mental health. Obviously, it's big. It's spoke on quite a lot online, but I feel like it's also not spoke on enough. Like everyone's like, oh, it does bits for your head. It does, yeah, but in what way? Like, what ways it affected your mental health? Like, how did it make you feel? Like having that plan, consistently training, eating good, like fueling your body. Like this is. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm losing weight. It's like, yeah, but you're not fueling yourself. Like, you look good, but you feel like shit because...
Well, first let's cover mental health in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like mental health has become a topic nowadays that's covered a lot more. But I still feel like it's got this association when you're a man. When you're a female and you open up about your mental health, you've got all the girls like clapping and cheering in the comments, like, oh my god, babes, like, thank you for... I feel the exact same. When it's guys, there's still that level of pride there, what stops them from opening up about their struggles. When the truth is, every single guy that I know, whether they're open about it or not, has their own mental health issues, has their own issues that they've got in their head. But the guys that I also know are mentally the strongest, are probably sometimes the most vulnerable in terms of they're open about it so they can overcome it. Yeah. Whilst the guys that keep it within themselves just sit in silence.
Eats away at them as well. And
Eats away at them and don't actually...
That was like me. I was in a bad place like a few years back, way before I started training, to be fair. And like at my lowest, I was in a bad place. Like I was in Africa, and like it got well bad. Like, but because of the time it happened, I was going through a breakup anyway, and it was like that sort of got labelled as the reason. So like when I spoke like to a doctor at work and stuff, and she was like, yeah, that's fine, but like other people in work were like, he's just fucking throwing at paddocks, he's split with his bird and that. But that was just like one part of it but no one knew because I just kept it to myself. I didn't speak about it. I was like soft in it. That
the association is man up.
Yeah.
That's the association is you. It depends what type of men you're around.
I was in the army, so it's like,
man up.
It's if you show any weakness, you're gonna get it. Like but it is spoke about a lot more in the army now. But again, I feel like it's just about
between the boys. It ain't. Probably not between the boys.
Nah, it's just in work. It's just like it was just a box ticking exercise. Like they do massive briefs and stuff, and you just like Yeah, but you still like the people delivering the brief. You're like, you're actually still on their end. I mean, I know what you're like outside of these briefs, so while you're giving it, I'll never know. But yeah. So mental health.
So what would you say you struggle with mental health?
Mental health wise,
Or in the past, like not just right now, like
Maybe before training.
before training,
Or before kind of taking things more serious. And
I guess I was more of like, I don't know. It's like it's hard to. I've gone through loads of weird phases. I guess before, like, quite a few years ago, I was more like, I was quite more of a heated kind of guy. I was more agitated. I was more quite stressed. I'm just trying to think how to word this. Like, it would just show up in a lot.
irrational.
But I think that was just my environment as well.
Yeah.
Which played a part to that. Even towards like a couple of years ago, I would say I was more of a stressful person. I'd have like days where I'm just literally like you just wouldn't want to be around me kind of thing. And obviously even having a child, it's like, you know, even he would experience that, which is not the best. And obviously you try and make sure he doesn't experience that. But I'm also the type of guy where I'm like, if I'm feeling something, I don't hold it back. Like, I don't hold it in, I don't hold it back. I just let it be known.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But then recently, I guess this is where faith kind of comes in. So I basically started like reading the Bible like over a year ago now.
Oh, so it's still quite recent.
Still quite fresh, yeah. I'm not even onto like New Testament yet. I'm like, you know, that's what cardio. I do the audio book, listen to the Bible. But like, I obviously still, I'm researching as well, and I'm just doing my own journey and developing into it. But like,
Yeah, because what it means to you is not what it's like. It's not going to be the exact same as what it means to someone else. You know,
No.
Like, you interpret it in your own way,
you
and you apply it in your own way as well. I feel.
Yeah, but the core elements of it literally has like just changed my life in terms of mentally perception like, but obviously spiritually, but like it's just, yeah, like there'll be times that I'll be like, I just won't be able to handle a situation as much, or like say to do with finances or other stressful situations, whereas now it's more like I'm just more of a pleasant person. It's weird, but it's not like, oh yeah, do religion, you're just gonna be like, oh,
Everything's
all flowers and fucking, you know, I'm just, peace and love, and I'm gonna start hugging trees and shit. No, it's not like that. It's like, it's just.
But I think it can be quite toxic in that way, in the sense of people can be too happy in a way where it's like they believe that they
gaslight themselves into believing everything's
everyone's worse. There's people out there that's in a worse situation than me. I should be happy all the time, and I can overcome this. It's better. Then they'll try and just stay happy for other people rather than kind of just reflecting and sitting back and going, you know what, I should feel this way.
Yeah.
I can accept that I feel this way, but I also know that it's not going to be forever. And you can use faith as a means of knowing that there's always going to be a brighter day, but allowing yourself to accept that how you feel is how you feel.
It's not even the brighter day thing. It's like, say I don't know, what's something that's going to trigger you, or you knew triggered you in the past, is having that conviction within yourself, and it's humbling yourself, and it literally, like, I'm trying to find a really good example for this, you see. So say if it was like something that would just trigger you, something that, you know, that make you just fucking, you should flip your lid. Like, there's a change, and you have that conviction, you're like, shit. You're like, no, like I won't control. I'm not gonna. There's control as well, yeah. And it's really hard to explain because obviously I'm still learning about myself and how I'm, you know, connecting with it all and the way it has this effect on me. But from so far, it's like been a positive effect. Like,
yeah,
it's just, yeah, like I'm just a much more like
accepting.
I'm not as fucking troubled in my head as well. Like how, you know. Well, I feel when you're troubled in your head, it has a knock-on effect, and you feel like, it's like when you see someone in the street, they're a fucking dick. But it's like, we'll be like, yo, why you being a dick? But it's like,
you don't know what they've been through.
You don't know what's going through in their head, and you don't know what's.
Would you say you look at things different? Like that's like
everything that
I'm trying to put into words how.
Your perception of reality.
Yeah. So like, instead of being like, it's the judgmental side. I think.
Yeah.
Like you don't judge people straight away. You think like, their backstory rather than just straight away being like, he's a dickhead. You're like, why is he acting like that?
Yeah.
Fair
That's
enough.
That's one of them.
Which makes you react different to situations.
I say one of the main things though is the conviction, and it's you're not holding yourself as righteous because you ain't. No one's should be self-righteous because you're not. It's like there's only one thing that has that power to be, to be right, and it's like you can't. You just need to humble yourself, and you're not this amazing thing to have some kind of power over other things. That's not what it is, and it's like it's just weird. It is really it's a weird way to. I'm still learning of how to communicate as well.
It's an interesting way for you to kind of put it, because obviously I guess for me it's similar, but I'm not religious. It's not like I follow Christ, I don't read the Bible. I'm not bothered about that for me. It's like I appreciate that's what people do, and that gives people peace and that makes them happier. It won't make me happy. I think for me, my perception of reality changed just through, I don't know what's really done it. I guess it's just like understanding and doing a lot of deep inner work and reading more self-help books and actually implementing some of the things that they say and listening to podcasts and listening to some successful people or what they do day to day, and understanding that the most successful people that I've listened to, the most successful people that have podcasts or done audiobooks, they have all been through the struggles that I've been through.
Yeah.
Maybe worse. They've maybe had a worse upbringing. They've maybe had a worse life. But now they're very successful, and they've had points where they've been in so much debt. They've had points where financially they've really struggled and had nothing. They've had to just feed themselves the most basic shit and do the most basic tasks to live. But they've all now got to a position where that's not them anymore.
Yeah.
And I think looking at life through a different lens is, at the end of the day, we're all gonna fucking die. And that is the but it's the truth. Like we said before, that we are all going to die. If you think I'm going to spend my time on this earth being down or stressed or angry at something for too long, sometimes you've got to accept that you're going to feel sad. You've got to accept that you're going to feel stressed. You've got to accept that anxiety levels are going to be high at times. But if you think I'm going to sit in a fucking self-pity party, because I ain't, because I know that my life is on a timer. Yeah. So I want to make sure that every single day, and again, that's why I get up early. It's because I see every day as valuable, because it's just you're not here forever. Yeah. So if I want to make an impact on this life, I have to and have a life that I can look back on and go, fucking hell, I did this, I did that, and I helped people, and I've given people a lot, and I want to be remembered. I have to do what needs to be done, and my perception has to change.
Yeah.
And I can't just be stressed. I can't just be sad. I have to do the work, regardless of how I feel. I've got to accept that I'm going to be tired. But if I truly want to create the life that I want, I need to be in a good state of mind.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in a bad state of mind, nothing productive gets done ever.
That's like me. As soon as I'm in when I was at my worst, no got done. I was fat as fuck. I didn't do anything. I literally finish work, go back to my room, sit and bash COD. And that'd be it. I'd literally smash COD until 2 a.m. My sleep was shit.
I used to have a bit like that as well.
And
we've all done it.
Yeah, but a lot of people stop doing that at a certain age. I was still doing it at 20.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, 20, 19, 20.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that comes from the work environment as well. I feel like I was still very childish until this last few years, where I started I started working with Tom, and you see outside life, life outside the army, which I never had. Obviously, I joined at 16. I was in until I was 22.
Yeah.
So for me, it was I didn't have that outside life experience. Everything was done for me.
Yeah.
I didn't have any bills apart from my car and stuff. And I just literally spent all my money on drink and going out all the time and stuff. But once you have a bit more responsibility, I feel like leaving was the best thing for me. I matured a lot. I've matured a lot in the last year, just from not having that safety net. I actually want to do stuff for myself.
Yeah.
Which is, again, that in the past would have absolutely fucking ruined me mentally. I'd have been so stressed and what the fuck am I going to do? Don't get me wrong, I'm still a bit stressed now, but it's I manage it a lot better, and training helps with that. Training is such a big thing, which is what we're going to touch on with. Training for me is my escape, and it was when I was in the army as well. When I was at work, we had a camp gym, and it had everything you needed to do, but I still paid to train in like a CV gym because it was like that escape. I didn't want to be associating my training with work as well, because that for me was like my escape from work. It was my escape from LA. And he said it all the time, and it's so cliche, like, oh, it's an escape, but it is like that hour, well, not a fucking hour anymore, it's more like 2 hours. With cardio, 2.5. 2 hours in it. Well, it's however long you make it. That time that I spend in the gym's like me shutting off from like the outside.
Same.
Like, I go in, I train, I fucking love training, I record all my shit anyway, so it's not like I can't look back from where I've come from. Like, I've recorded from day one, which I'm so glad about. I'm literally going to I've made a video about it, like recording from day one. If you are just starting out, if you're watching this and you just start going to the gym, record everything. Like, photos of yourself, even if you feel like you look like an absolute fucking fat mess. Like, that is the best thing I ever did, because in a year, 2 years, or like for me now, 4 years down the line, I can look back at photos and be like, fucking hell, yeah. Like the photos that we put up in the last podcast, like that's 2021 to now, and I was like, even the smiling photos and stuff. I had someone message me off one of my photos the other day, were like, you smile in the new, like the most recent photo compared to your first one, says everything. And it is like mental health. It's not a straightforward thing, and managing it through training and eating better, like fueling your body with the right sorts of foods, like even the foods that you eat impact, in my opinion, impact how you feel. Because when I eat shit, I feel like shit. Do you know what I mean? When I eat good, I feel good.
So I'll send you this if you want to throw it on screen. So that was me in 2021.
Jesus Christ! I
As you can see, look how different. Look, even just in the face and everything. Like, I just looked.
We'll put these.
I was just round.
That's just a round Thai ball.
A round ball of Thai goodness. Okay, that was me in 2021.
Jeez, oh yeah, fucking hell.
So we'll put both of these photos up on screen.
And yeah, we're gonna have to.
We'll have to get Specky Tom up. Were you Specky in 2021? No. Oh, you was actually deep in it 2021, weren't you?
Yeah.
So you were looking alright in 2021.
In 2021 I was alright. I wasn't the best, but I looked okay. I was training, obviously, at that point, always. So it's just the diet side of things.
So is that when you started at JD? Because in 2021 was kind of when JD opened, wasn't it?
When did COVID finish?
Around 2020?
No, it was
2021.
When the final stint of COVID ended and obviously life started to go back to normal, that's when I started PTing.
Okay.
So it's been about 4 years now.
Okay, yeah. Well, I used to see you obviously in JD when you was a PT there, because obviously that was my gym first.
Yeah.
I was there when it opened.
Anyways, before we get back off track,
Oh yeah.
mental health and training, stuff like that for you, how do you feel like it's affecting your mental well-being, like training, nutrition?
It's always been my safe haven. It's always been that thing for me. And again, this is why when I started at 15, I didn't make a lot of change physically for like 7 years, but I loved it just because I felt like I had purpose. And we spoke about this, but purpose for me, your purpose gives you things that you don't realise. Like it can put you in a happy place without trying to be. So I knew that I was going to go gym. So even if I had a stressful day, cool, it's fine. I'm going to gym tomorrow. If I've gone through a shit period of my life, exams and like money issues, it's okay. I've got a membership to the gym. I can go train. I can go push myself, and that's where I learned to train really hard as well. Because for me, when you train hard and when you truly push your body to the limit, one, it's building up that self-belief that you thought you couldn't lift a certain weight. You end up doing it for more reps than you realise. That's that positive affirmation that you needed. So that builds something that you don't realise subconsciously, where it's like competing, it shows you that you've got more than you believe. So doing that over time, it just compounds to more self-belief. And for me, I spoke about this in the last one, but it's like confidence was a massive issue for me. And I feel like even without the gym massively impacting me physically for a while, I feel like from a mental standpoint, it impacts me quite early on anyway, because I loved going to the gym. I loved training. I loved it. I loved how it made me feel. And that just then obviously helped me transition into coaching and personal training, because I realised what it could do for people if they allowed it to. So
The same reason I got into it.
it's confidence. I think it's confidence, it's self-belief, it's breaking through barriers that you never knew that you'd break through. And that then carries over into everything else in your life. Like, you can just start to be more at peace with who you are. And obviously that for me is what I believe it's done. It's the self-limiting beliefs that I had. Still got some, don't get me wrong, I think they're always going to be there, but I think it's more of a case of I know that I've overcome a lot, so it's like, why can't I overcome this? And there's people that are out there doing better than me in certain aspects of life, and at free training, I believe that I can. It's more. I'm more delusional now, but it's a good level of delusion. Where
Deludable.
Like, I am taking a bit of deludable because I'm delusional in my ways of thinking. I'm delusional in my ways of thinking because I know that I'm not where I want to be, but it's like I don't care because I know I'm going to get there. I've got the mentality, I've got the work ethic, I've got the drive, and I've got the confidence now to know that I'm going to get there. So that financial freedom that I want, it's already there. It's there. It's going to happen. The clients that I want, it's there. The business that I want to create, it's there. The house that I want to have in the future, it's there. The life that I want to give to my family, it's there. It's all done. It's manifested. It's there. I know it's coming. It's just a case of I've got to know and believe in myself now to do the work every day to allow myself to get there. And I don't think without training I would have ever happened. It's just obviously allowed me to develop over time a lot faster because I've proven to myself time and time again that I can do things, that I can show up for myself. And the most important person that you can show up for is going to be yourself. Because you can show up for your partner, you can show up for your family, you can show up for your friends. But if you aren't showing up for yourself, you ain't ever going to be able to give the best to them like that you'd want. When you give to yourself, that energy, you'll be able to give that to them around you, and then you'll just be happier, which then will pass on to them.
100%. Fill your cup up first, and then watch everyone else's around you.
That's going to fill.
Yeah.
So, what about for you with, you touched on yours yet? How it can help, or how it's helped?
So, yeah, gym's just, if I haven't gone to the gym, my head's just a mess for the day anyway. So it's just like, it just sorts me out, and it's like, it's just, yeah, even if you're, like, I get spouts of like anxiety, or like there's some days where I'll just be like, you know, you just feel like you're out of your skin, and you're just a bit like, you know, sometimes I find it hard to like focus and work, and that's when I know I need to either go for a walk or do something to kind of, you know, get my brain, you know, to stimulated. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like I have a dog. Basically,
big dog. We'll put a photo of that. It's a big dog Dave.
Big dog Dave. She's called Luna, but she's like, with dogs, like, they chew up houses. They go mental. Shit everywhere. You need to walk that dog. You need to get that dog exercise. It's the same with like a dog, but like, this dog's overweight. Let's cut the food down.
As Piers Morgan once said, if your dog was fat, what would you do? You feed it less or walk it more.
Feed it less. There you go. Same applies to humans. And it's like, you know, you need to walk that dog. You need to get that dog's brain stimulated.
Otherwise, it's going to have the zoomies all night.
Otherwise, it's going to, you know, it's going to be a mess the rest of the day as well. So it's like, it applies the same. And it's, but yeah, like training, I put my music on, put my headphones. I like to train with people because it's like, yeah, we have like good sessions, we push. But then there's other times it's like, no, this is just for me. I just want to zone out.
Mental health session.
Yeah, mental health session. Put my music on, fucking go to war, and just, you know, and it's like, yeah, boom, I'm good.
But that's fine. That's like with what you said there. Sometimes I want to put your headphones in and just shut up. It's like me and Harry are totally different in the gym. He will walk in, he'll chat to people for like 5 minutes at the front, then he'll go in and see more people and chat to everyone, and he'll train at the same time. For me, when I'm in the gym and I'm working, because I've still got a couple of PT clients, I will go in and I'll chat to people and whatever else, and I'll be there for my clients and I'll be enthusiastic for them, because obviously it's a one-to-one thing. That's how I am. When I go into train, I ain't there to talk. I ain't there to conversate. I ain't there to be all happy fucking. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't want to chat to you for 10 minutes. Unless, say for example, it's like someone that I'm really, unless it's someone like you, or someone that I know on a deeper level, it's different. Then I'll happily do that, and I will smile at people when I'm in the gym. But at the same time, when I'm there to train, I'm there to train, and I don't want to. And time for me within the gym is quite special, so it might come across as rude sometimes, and I don't want it to come across that way. But it's like, for me, it's my time to be a little bit selfish for me, so I can then pour into other people.
Same.
So I'm like you said, I'm the opposite. But for me, it's like, I'm not one of them people that goes in like half-ass a set and then just has fucking 10 sets of chin wags. You know what I mean?
You do. You work.
I go in, and between my sets, like my rest times, fucking hell, Jesus Christ.
They go too long now.
Innit? My rest times are timed, so I always know how long I've got between sets. and it's like, in that time, I'll have a little conversation and that, but when it's time for the set, I fucking send it. Like, I don't, but I'm a social butterfly in that sort of sense.
That's what works for you. For me, if I do that, it takes away from my session. And it's like, I'm there to progress, I'm there to do something for me that's going to better my life and that's going to better my physique. And yeah, I might have certain days where I go in and I'm a little bit more chatty. I think it just depends on what mood I'm in. Like, and now obviously I'm quite steady in terms of my mood, but there are days when I just want to go in and I just want it to be for me. I go in with the mindset of, I'm going to train, and I'm going to fucking bury myself. I'm going to have a good time when I'm there, when I'm training, but it's me. My headphones are in, and I don't want to chat. But whilst for you, it's like, I'll go in, I'll walk you right, whatever, I'll go in, smile at people, whatever. But when I'm doing my sets, I'm just doing my sets. When I'm doing my training sessions, it's my training sessions. I want to get in, I want to get out, and I want to have the rest of my day to myself.
I enjoy being there, me, so it's like, it's not like that. Especially when I'm not, like, after work and stuff, like, I've sat driving all day. Like, it's nice for me to go in and have that social aspect as well, and I enjoy that. And like, don't be wrong, I train hard as fuck, and I do bury myself. And like, there is days where I go in and I don't want to speak to anyone. Yeah. And I'll go in, I'll speak to the lads at the front, and obviously I'll get on with them, like, say hello, do my thing, go in, and then there'll be sessions where I just don't say a word to anyone. I actually just send my session. But I enjoy talking to people in the gym. I find it good.
It's the good thing about our gym is there's a strong community aspect. Like I'm, DJing is one of the most loneliest jobs in the world. You think it isn't, but some people it isn't. They're fucking got, they've got their mates around them. But I'm one of the type of DJs. It's like, get the fuck away from me. Let me DJ. I've got all these people I need to work to make, happy and dance. And then,
stop asking for fucking
and then I'll
country roads.
Yeah. And then I work from home, and it's like, social aspect. So then the gym is nice because it's like, you've seen all these people all the time. It's like, I'll chat to them. Some other days it's like, I'm not being rude, but I'm just, I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to crack on as well. But yeah,
and that's how online coaching feels, to be honest, at times. Like, obviously, since I've gone more so online, I don't take on PT clients anymore. I was thinking about maybe doing a couple here and there. I've got a couple that I've had for a long time. I've got literally 3 that I've kept for like fucking 2.5, 3 years now. One since I pretty much started, but obviously I don't take on PT clients anymore. And it's like, I would do it again, but it would never be a case of I'm working all hours under the sun. It'll be a case of I'll do 3 days a week like I do now, but then it will just be within a certain time frame, the morning, which I do anyway, but it's just filling the gaps that I've currently got. So that's all I would do. But it's because I still do that, because 1, I live down the road from the gym. Don't be a lazy bastard, do it. And 2, it's like, even if I have more PT sessions, it's never going to take away from my online work. It's never going to take away from my check-ins. It's never going to take away from the service that I can provide. It's just a couple of hours out of the day, 3 days a week. I can't reply as much. I can't do the content. I can't do things like this. But that's fine, because it's only 3 days in a week. I've still got 4 days to have my online presence, but I like the personal aspect with PT.
Which is, I feel like I might go more towards going down that route in like the near future, like going more in person, if that makes sense, getting all that sort of stuff sorted, and then moving more towards, like, that could be like the breaking point of going full time. Like doing in person.
It's how you do it full time. It's how you do it full time. Like, because if you don't, I think for a lot of people, they think they want to go full time online coaching without the gym floor experience, which some people can do and some people do it, and I don't think it's not possible, because it is. But I feel like what makes it easier, and when you look at the most successful coaches, they have all worked on the gym floor. They've all got that experience with people in person, that's then allowed them to build a portfolio of client results, get their name out there quicker, because they can then get them to talk to other people, and you can build a name for yourself quite quickly to then transition online. It's just a case of doing it, and it's not easy becoming a PT or becoming a personal trainer, despite what people say, because you have to work for free for a bit. You have to get a client base. You have to do the classes. You have to do the spin classes. You have to speak to people, which is fine for you, but I feel like you still have to work for free. It's hard because you don't know if you're going to make it, and you just have to graft, and you have to do more hours than what you're probably working now. You have to do more because you have to be on that gym floor more to talk to people, to get people into consultations, to then get them to become a client. And you will work with people that you don't like, and you'll work with people that you really do like and get really good connections with. But
it will build up a portfolio quicker to then get more people online. So it is one of them what I think is probably the best route to take if you do want to go full time with it. It's just not easy.
Yeah, I got it.
Just ain't easy. How long we got left on that camera now, bro? It's like 7 minutes.
I don't know, I can't see it.
I think that's like just stand up a second. Just have a look. Have a look at the timer. It says on the top left the amount of time left. 7 minutes. Right, cool. So we'll get wrapped up.
Get wrapped up in the head.
It's been about an hour and 50 then. Yeah, 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's been a good little chat and good having Peter on a podcast.
Peter podcast, the dick to the Tom and Harry.
Enjoyed being dick. And we've had the nice professional setup this time. I feel like this was a good chat about a few things. Obviously, business, mental health, obviously our own journeys again, struggles, and. Yeah, obviously I hope you've all enjoyed the second podcast, and obviously if you have enjoyed the podcast, make sure that you drop the channel, subscribe. It's a fresh channel. So if we can get to like 100 subs in the next fucking 2 months, that'll be very good.
You've got 1 day.
Don't be a dick. If you're watching, sub. But yeah.
If you do sub, I'll give you free OnlyFans. Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
You might send you some feet pics. You don't want to see them.
You don't want to see them dogs.
But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. Thanks for having me. Mate, no worries, coming, and obviously thank you for helping with the setup, because I think he's better at doing this.
He's a lot better at doing this.
Yeah, so that's why he looks more professional this time.
And if you don't already, give Ty Guy a follow on Instagram.
Ty Guy.
Yeah, _ Ty Guy Instagram, and then Ty Guy on TikTok and YouTube.
Ty Guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
But he won't notice anyway with all his following, you know what I mean?
he's big time now.
Too big for the big dogs, you know what I mean?
If you like R&B music and stuff like that, and mixes like that, then you definitely want to give him a follow and subscribe to his channel.
Straight bangers.
Thanks for watching. If you like the podcast, like it, drop the channel a subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you in a bit.
Peace. Bosh.
Sweet.
Yeah. I could have got cancelled so many times, but I stopped myself.